Hello and welcome to another episode of Horde of the Dragon Queen with Boarderline Streamers. I am Many More Games. I am your dungeon master for this evening, and with me I have Miniax Miniatures, I have Basis of Operations, Missy TTV, and Kellum. Okay, guys, I'm just going to introduce you guys. I've already introduced you, but I'm going to go around the table. If you could just tell our listeners who you are, what sort of things you like to do, and a little bit about your character. Can we start with Basis of Operations, please?
Hello, I'm Basis of Operations. I'm a miniature painter here on Twitch. You can find me at Basis of Operations. And I like painting small things. So I'm playing Rogar, who is a red dragonborn fighter.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And going on to you, Miniax Miniatures.
Hi, everybody. It's me, your old buddy Nate from Miniax Miniatures. I am a miniature sculptor and painter. I do on Twitch sometimes, but I have been kind of sticking to D&D on Twitch only recently. I think I'll get back into streaming my sculpting very soon. Also, I just want to say real quick, guys, if you can, support extralife.org. Hashtag for the kids.
Amazing. And yes, definitely. Support Extra Life. I believe that the information is on the stream.
Yeah, I'm just posting it up now in the charity link.
Oh, awesome.
Charity command.
Thank you, Missy. That's brilliant. Okay, I'm going on to Missy TTV. Can you tell us a little about your character, please? And yourself?
Yes, I am a variety streamer. I do writing, painting, miniature painting, gaming, roleplay, video games, horror games, a few things, plus knitting. But my schedule's a bit all over the place because we're moving. Anyhow, my character is Vistra. She is a mountain dwarf. She is also a rogue, and now that she is level 3, she is also a arcane trickster. I have not got round to changing her spells, so she is still using the same as she was last time, which is in my tool book for the GM to remember. Yeah, she has got prepared spells. She has chromatic orb, but she doesn't have a diamond, so she can't use it. Silent image and sleep. Cantrips, she has mage hand, mending, and true strike. So that's her spells.
Excellent.
That's Vistra.
Fantastic. And hasn't really had a chance to use any of them yet, but she will soon, hopefully. She will soon
She's
have
very
a
good at
chance.
sneaking.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. As we'll talk about in a minute, absolutely. Could not have done. I don't think could have done the last adventure without you quite the same way.
That's not actually true. I happen to know that Vistra has used her invisible mage hand on at least 2 occasions.
Oh, why is that? What are these 2 occasions?
I don't remember offhand, but I definitely remember the invisible mage hand coming into play.
I think she did do it sometime.
Maybe,
I can't remember what it was.
Maybe.
so.
Well, I apologize if that's the case. I do apologize. But I can't remember. As the DM, I should remember these things, but I can't remember you.
I think we should ask the
Maybe
chat.
it was invisible. It was because it was invisible. Most likely, I couldn't see it happening. And and finally, our newest member of the stream, Kellum. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and your character?
Hey everybody, it's Kellum. I don't do any live streaming. I just kind of watch these guys and laugh as much as I can about them. They're all great though, by the way. Y'all should tune in. Very talented people. My character is Pedrick. He is a war divinity cleric. So he's trying to keep these guys all in one piece as they blunder into oblivion.
I mean, that's
We're so
fair.
happy to have you. I'm pretty sure that everybody here can say they're really happy to have you.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell about my bard, Weird Hal. I have a level 3 bard. His name is Weird Hal, and he's an entertainer and a songwriter.
And he's weird.
He's weird. He's pretty weird.
He's very
Socially
weird.
awkward.
He's
Socially
socially awkward, but not afraid to drop his pants in the right situation. Or wrong situation.
And the wrong one, yeah. I mean, in the wrong situation.
Yeah, I was going to say any situation, really. Weird Al's brilliant, and he is a law school cleric, isn't he? He's a member of the law college or the law.
Wait, let me double check that because it doesn't sound right. I think it's
L-O-R-E,
lore. Oh, lore. Oh, that's what you were saying.
Not the law. You don't go around and give people subpoenas.
Yeah.
Or anything.
I mean, that's a weird type of entertainment.
That would be even better.
Yeah.
No, I forgot that we had accents for a second. That's all.
Sorry, I'll make sure to put my accent on. It's
awful.
terrible. Sorry, it's terrible. That's the one accent I can't do. Anyway, so and I am many more games. I am your dungeon master, as I said, for this evening, and I love Dungeons and Dragons. I'm normally a painting streamer, although what with everything that's been happening, I've been off air for a while because doing that. But finally, I've got to say this because I'm so excited, and I hopefully none of my kids are listening to this because otherwise I might get in trouble with my workplace. But my kids' results were in, my students' kids' results were in, and they all get like A's, and I was really, really happy. That's for their final exams going off to university. So,
hey,
major thing on my mind.
Did you say A's? They got all A's?
Yeah.
You
So
better buy them brand new skateboards so they know that it was worth it.
Well, I would, but they're all like grown up and drinking and stuff now. So I'll leave that to them. They're not my kid. They're not my kids. Sorry, not my kids. They're my students, and they all got A's. Sorry, I always say that. I freak people out sometimes because I'm like, I got, my 26 kids, and they're like, what? 26 kids? How old are you?
Yeah, when you
must
said
have
your kids were
started
drinking,
young.
that's what went in my head. I was like, wait a minute, how old are you?
Yeah, got 3 kids. No, I don't. No, but my students, they all did amazingly, and they should be seeing it in 10 minutes. The results come out for them online in 10 minutes, and I'm hoping that they're
not watching this, bro.
They were, but yeah, I'm so proud of them, and this has just been like an amazing day for me. It's my first time putting these kids through the exams, and they just went and just blasted them into smithereens. I'm so excited. They all get to go to the unis that they want to go to, and it's going to be brilliant. I'm so jealous of them right now. They're just starting and going off and doing that cool stuff again. But being penniless,
Also,
I don't like that. Being penniless, I didn't like.
Deep Southern Hillbilly.
Yeah, my deep south hillbilly hills of eyes kind of accent is actually pretty good, apparently, but I'm not going to go into that now.
What we talking like Deliverance sort of?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That's what my viewers said of my Deliverance
You
kind of.
got a pretty mouth, boy.
Yeah, that's the one. You got a pretty mouth.
You got a pretty mouth, boy.
You is my little kitty now.
All right, so enough about the pretty mouth.
Oh, God. All right, so I'd also like to give a shout out to Zander just for the fact that he's apparently worked out how to do his dynamic lighting for Roll20.
This should be interesting.
This is a maybe. I'm gonna wait till you guys get into the game, and then when everything's absolutely effed up and I have to illuminate the entire area, then I will go and sit in a corner and cry.
Squeal, little piggy. I would like to give a quick shout out to Plutonium, who is yet again in the chat.
Plutonium. Shout out.
Yep, doing it.
All right, so we better get started, guys, because otherwise it's going to be 4 o'clock in the morning again.
I broke it.
It's starting, and I can't handle that. I just can't handle 4 a.m.s anymore. So, all right, so let's do a quick recap as to what happened in the last episode. In the last episode, I'm going to be a bit quick with this because we're going to run out of time otherwise. So, in the last episode, you began in your hidden cave where you'd taken a long rest. Weird Hal had ingested some strange mushrooms and was sitting in the corner holding his stomach and muttering to himself.
Which happened to me in real life this week, by the way.
Well, there we go. There we go. I played upon your real life experience and brought that into your character. And because of that, he was out of commission, and it was just Vistra and Rogar sitting on their own, sort of like talking to each other. And then they encountered a person climbing up the incline towards their hidden cave, and it was Pedrick the
entertainer.
Sorry, the cleric, the war cleric, Pedrick Strombrick, and he had managed to find you thanks to the Tailors and Seamstresses Guild member, chairperson, which is of course Cobbler the Tailor.
Bard got bugged.
And yeah, he had explained
No,
he had
Jack.
explained that the card that he had given you, Weird Hal, had a locator spell on it, a locator tracking spell, so that his half elves could find you to give you your samples once every 10 days. So he managed to give a copy of that to Pedrick, and Pedrick used that to track you guys down. After yes.
Are we calling the first day of the week Sunday or Moon Day?
Good question.
I'm going to call
The
it
first day of the 10-day, I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it's Moon Day, isn't it, in the Forgotten Realms?
I'm not sure. I will
double check that for you. I will double check that for you. I'll tell you in a minute, but I'll double check that for you when I've got a sec.
Take your time.
The next, so what happened after that was there was a bit of discussion about what to do. Vistra went out to scout, and when she did, she discovered an alternate escape route to get the prisoners out. She saw that Leosin, the monk, was being beaten mercilessly by Cyanrath to obviously try and get him to talk or spill some information or a secret. And when she came back, she also saw that one of the prisoners had just been killed by one of the ruthless Dragonclaw guards. You guys then worked together to come up with a quite desperate escape plan. You managed to sneak all the way to the ledge overlooking the prisoners' camp. You waited till it was about 3 a.m. It was about 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, and you tied your two ropes together to create a longer rope because it was a very long drop, and Rogar stayed on the top while Vistra went down to unlock all the padlocks, and managed to basically start yanking and pulling up the prisoners as they were sort of holding on for dear life to the rope. During this, a guard was alerted, and Vistra managed to. She took some damage while dodging out of the way. However, you guys up on top with your crossbows managed to sort of thin that guy out and kill him with crossbow bolts. While that was happening, Aurelio, our monk, who's not here today, he was actually causing a distraction by setting fire to the unoccupied watchtower. And so you managed to get everybody. You managed to get everybody up. Leosin as well, and just in time. And you managed to you got to the cave, you healed, and then you heard there was a large hullabaloo and a lot of sound, and you decided probably good discretion is the better part of valor, and you just ran for greenest.
To be fair, I think that plan worked out much. Considering the notoriety that Dungeons and Dragons has for players making a plan and it going absolutely belly up, that plan kind of worked pretty well.
It did, and believe me, it was just you had got really good rolls. I was rolling to see whether you would be noticed, and the guy just kept rolling ones all the time, and just didn't notice you at all. He was just sitting there oblivious.
He just wasn't paying attention. That's the problem.
He was partying. He was partying, and he was all boozed up. And anyway, so he got only one Dragonclaw appeared. You managed to escape. You ran for greenest, and you were encountered by two sets of enemies. You managed to just basically to carve your way through both sets of enemies, and you managed to make it to the gates of greenest before the main hunting party found you. So once you got in, Governor Nighthill greeted you, and he greeted you enthusiastically. He thanked you from the bottom of his heart for saving the prisoners of greenest, and also for getting back Leosin. Although he wasn't part of his mission, it was part of the overall mission for you to try and rescue Leosin. The one things that didn't happen, you did see the death of one prisoner. That was Galdus Caro. He was not.
There was nothing we could have done.
Galdus Caro, and his father Catechus, as you know, is actually alive in the town. That is something that. Sorry, you won't know the names of these characters. I apologize. That metagame, I shouldn't have said that. So you know a prisoner died, and you know there's probably some family there in town. That would be Missy would know that because she was the one who clocked that when she saw the prisoner. Also, while you were there, you did not see Talia. Sorry, you did not see Talus.
Yeah.
You did not see Talus amongst the prisoners.
Okay.
I remember that being the case already from 2 sessions ago as well. We did
Yes.
not find her.
Mm-hmm.
So you each got, you all praised for your courage and daring, and you were given the 250 gold pieces that you were promised.
Oh, good. I can buy that. I can use it to buy some more toilet paper.
And yes, and so the story begins. Night Hill basically put you up again, like he did before. In his own chambers. He's still out and about in town. You guys have been staying sort of like in his chambers, in his guest chambers. So you've been sleeping well. And once you, when you've woken up, so this is counts as a long rest.
Good morning, everybody. I feel 1,000,000% better.
And you're currently awaking. You're currently waking in the keep, as you did before. And yes, that's where we begin this story.
Okay. A question for the.
Is it? Sorry.
It's about you got back. It was pretty early in the morning when you got back. Because it took about 3 hours to get took about 3 hours to get back to Thingy. So I would say about 7 a.m. when you arrived back in Greenest. 8 hours sleep on 7 a.m. So it's not early. It's about 3 in the afternoon.
3 in the afternoon. Oh, I was really tired though.
Yeah.
I needed that rest.
Question for the GM.
Well, you have been being purged by their healers. You've been your stomach has been pumped, and you by magical means. So you've been literally having translocation spells being cast on your stomach to remove the contents and shove it to the side.
Just 1 foot to the right, please.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So DM, how much does Night Hill know? Have we given him a report yet?
Well, no, you haven't actually spoken to him yet. He knows that you came back with the Greenest prisoners because obviously you brought them back with you when you came in. You also came back with Leosin. You came back at the head of a thing. So he doesn't know exactly what you found out yet. But he has actually he takes you as good at your word. He knows that you're going to be able to give him some information. So I just paid you up front.
Yeah, he likes
because
us
it was the
already.
end of the thing. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm going to wake up
so
in the
yes.
morning and I'm going to go look for. I'm going to wake up in the afternoon, and
Yeah.
I will. I imagine that my fellows are around, woke up around about the same time. I'm going to let them know that I'm.
Yeah,
going to...
they're all in they're all in their own little guest chambers at the moment. They're sort of like, and if Weird Hal is combing his hair. His long locks.
This is a real horsehair brush. It really makes a big difference,
Yeah.
So
golden locks.
Well, first of all, I'm going to knock on his door and peek round the door and just go, what? And I'm going to, I'm just going to go around to my fellow compatriots, and I'm going to tell them that I am about to head off to Governor Nighthill, and they can join me if they want. If not, I'll see them shortly.
Okay. Everybody else, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna food. I'm gonna wait for Rogar to come to my chambers, and then I will go with him to see Night Hill.
I'm starving after my ordeal. I'm definitely looking for food.
All right, so Weird Hal, he sort of stumbles out past Rogar and Missy T, and he just goes, what? And just sort of like thumps downstairs, down the long winding stairs. There's a long spread table. There's still sort of like people in the tower are still living kind of buffet style at the moment, and they've got like a long sort of trestle table. There's breads, there's fruit, there's hams, there's
I need ham and boiled eggs.
Yeah, but there's definitely eggs and ham, so you can help yourself to those. So yeah, while you guys are going off to see Governor Nighthill, Weird Hal is going to stuff his face and try to replace the nutrients he lost after his big ordeal.
We lost Kellum from the feed. I'm not sure what has happened.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Helen, are you there?
No, he's not in the call,
He's
so
gone
I'm
off
not
of the,
100% sure what's
Oh, okay.
going
I
on.
can't
He
see
could be
him,
back in a
so-
minute. His internet seems to be a bit
Yeah.
patchy sometimes.
So we can retrospect what he wants to do, shall we? And we'll head off to
Right.
I will head off and find Governor Nighthill with Vista in tow.
All right. So as you walk through the town, as you walk sort of out of the gates of the keep and down the hill towards the main town, you can see that the efforts of rebuilding are really starting to pick up now. There's a lot more people out. Like in the last time when you were walking around Greenest, most people were sort of staying inside, were trying to like check on their belongings, see what was destroyed, what was taken, what wasn't. And now there seems to be a lot more people out in the streets. There seems to be a real the guards that were up in the keep before are now patrolling the town. These are of course the local militia. They're not they're not professional soldiers, but they're still in their role as militia at the moment. When they're not patrolling, you can see knots of militiamen sort of helping out around the town, clearing away refuse, removing sort of damaged portions of homes so they can be replaced. You can see some masons sort of walking around inspecting the building. Some carpenters, some carpenters and some woodworkers seem to be sort of walking around with saws over their shoulders.
While we're walking around, can I keep the scan out? I want to make sure nobody's kind of taking advantage of the, specifically anybody who has nefarious intentions. Just keeping an eye out, make sure nobody's taking advantage of the town. Especially the militia, as it were. Nobody's kind of taking the piss with their powers.
Okay. Well, Rogar, you're right. Definitely, as a person who's sort of grown up as part of the, part of the city life, you would definitely be aware with corruption in the guards and these sorts of people taking advantage. But this is still quite a small area. From what you can see, it seems like a lot of people are, everybody seems to know everybody else and holds each other to account. So what you've got is you've probably got quite a few people helping out, and those people seem to be slacking off. You've got the elders going, "Get back to work, boy!" sort of shaking their hands at him.
The youngins don't know how good they've got it.
You can't see anyone, seems to be taking advantage
Cool.
of people at the time, and the militia seem to be, honestly labouring to help the town from the glances that you've been given.
Cool.
Weird Hal is stuffing his face with ham and boiled eggs, and suddenly a thought goes off in his head. He remembers that there is a halfling who has been secretly working here as a spy.
Is she still here?
And spits his food out all over the table.
Oh.
A couple of maids look up at you in disgust, sort of like as you do that. It's like, sort of walk past you and start sort of cleaning up the mess.
Sorry.
So one of them sort of sniffs, raises their nose, and just walks away.
I'm going to go and look for these two and remind them about what I just thought of.
All right, so you run after. It's not too hard. So you run after them. You're not too far behind, and Rogar is pretty distinctive. Even if Vistra is quite small and sort of maybe a bit more obscured because of her cloak and her sort of like her height, you can definitely see Rogar is sort of is 7 feet, isn't it, or is it 8 feet?
Oh yeah, 7 feet tall, red dragonborn. He's
7 feet tall, red dragonborn with big sort of like horn-like dreadlocks going down the back of his head. So yeah, you easily see him and you run to catch up with them. So you catch up with them quite easily.
Okay,
They're sort of sauntering through town.
I'm going to say, Rogar, I was just eating and I remembered, isn't there someone here working undercover in the kitchen?
I point to my head and I go, I have it all remembered in my head. Yeah.
Well, don't you think we should, quickly capture her before she's aware that we know anything? Handle it right now?
I put my hand on his shoulder and I say, as much, dear friend, as I admire your enthusiasm, but literally we've just seen her at a camp with the rest of the bad guys. I'm pretty sure she's still there. But we will indeed inform Nighthelm that the halfling is working in the kitchens, or was. I mean, I'm
so
pretty
you
sure.
guys have seen her since we left here then?
How much did you see when I was talking to the people in the
I was
camp?
in that cave the whole time. I didn't see anything except
No,
for
I mean before you got ill, when you were invisible, did you not see the halfling I was talking to at the top end of the camp?
I saw all the prisoners plus the elder that we were looking for.
Oh, okay. Well,
I saw
I
the tower, I saw the cave, and I saw the camp with the drakes around it.
Okay. Well, the halfling in question actually spoke to me in the camp, thinking I was one of them, and she told me that she was hiding amongst the. She was working in the kitchen.
She thought you were a spy as well.
Well, she thought I was one of them.
Okay. All right.
Okay, while you're talking about this, Pedrick is sort of like coming out of his room, and he's just standing, and it's empty. The whole area is sort of quiet and empty. Guys, and it's like nothing is coming from the rooms. So Pedrick kind of you realize that the group's probably gone on a little bit without you. So you sort of stomp downstairs, and you're sort of like at the bottom. You're sort of like at the entrance to the main tower of the keep, and there's people walking around. There's maids, and there's workers and militia sort of walking around, and that's where you find yourself. So you guys are in town. You sort of walked into like the entrance of town, and Kellum, you're still at the keep at the moment. Sorry, I wanted to catch you up because you disappeared a minute ago. So.
I lost Wi-Fi. I'm back now.
Yeah,
should be
brilliant.
Pedrick's going to look around and just kind of like shrug his shoulders, like they do this to me all the time. So he's going to go ahead and head off towards the temple to get a little bit of prayer and some insight, possibly from the priest.
Okay, so you having actually come from this. You having a connection with your god, having a connection with that of Shantia, kind of like a diametrically opposed connection. She's the goddess of fertility and life, and you worship the war aspect of your god. So you kind of have come here to provide sort of protection in sort of you trying to get here in time to stop the raid, and unfortunately you didn't. So you would know a bit about the local layout. And you would know that in this town there is a rather large temple to Trontia, who is the goddess of fertility and agriculture.
Right. We're going to head that way. And we're going to keep our eyes open as we go.
Okay. So,
who's we?
Sort of walking through.
Say again?
Who's we?
You just don't know yet. You'll figure it out. Just hang with it.
Okay.
Just roll with it.
Just roll with it. Okay, so as you guys are discussing the sort of this potential hobbit traitor, Kellum is sort of walking through town, and again, sort of walking down from the keep into town. It won't take you too long to actually see a 7-foot dragonborn. It seems to be in almost. He seems to be calm and sort of collected, and trying to hold this very frantic-looking weird howl, sort of like trying to calm him down. And so you can see them sort of what seem to be in a sort of hurried conversation. And Vistra is sort of like, you can see Vistra as well. She's sort of standing to the side, looking a bit amused about what's going on. So that's where you find yourself at the moment.
All right. I look up and I say, hey. Does he need another mushroom? I think I may still have a few.
I think he's had plenty of mushrooms.
Kids. This is...
Yeah, it's not good for you. It makes your stomach hurt real bad. I thought it was going to be fun, but it wasn't.
I'm glad you joined us,
Ken. The worst.
Jokingly, I laughed, and I said, what seems to be going on here, guys?
Well, we're gonna head off and find Nighthelm. We may as well have a chat with him. I think
I think I would like to head to the temple as well, actually, because I would like to give praise to my god Timora, the god of good luck, the god of luck, and be thankful for our good luck in getting out of there alive.
Okay, so at the moment, are you sort of splitting up? Half of you going towards to trying to find Governor Nighthill, and the other half, well, obviously, Weird Hal, you would know the way to the temple.
I do know the way. We've been there for sure.
Yeah, we protected it, didn't we?
Before we all break up, Visha wants to turn to everyone and goes, by the way, we've been so caught up with that scoundrel camp with the raiders, but something's niggling me. Did we hide something?
Yes.
Recently? What was it that we hid? We spent ages trying to hide something.
We hid the on the way to the camp. We hid when we met that first around the campfire. We hid some belongings of the town.
That's right. Yes, on the way to the camp.
Yep.
So where's that at?
I'm gonna have to disconnect for a minute, guys. Sorry, my stream has gone really slow. I don't know what's happened. Oh no, I'm back. I'm back at full strength. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, when we we go have a chat with when we tell Nighthill about the camp, we can tell him that some of the belongings of the townsfolk are at the at the camp.
The recovered booty. That's right. I remember that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
So yes,
Good to
mystery.
remember.
You suddenly remember. Yes. The stuff that we
hidden
buried.
hidden under a half-cooked chicken. I remember, if I recall, marked by half-cooked chicken.
Yes, marked by the carcass of a.
I mean,
a
that's
prairie.
probably gone by now. With wild animals, has probably eaten it. But I mean,
And kobolds.
it's there. Yeah, and I mean,
But hopefully they got sick from eating it.
maybe that's how you got sick, Weird Hal. Did you eat any of the half-cooked chicken?
I did eat some cobalt chicken. But
Yeah.
it was,
Play with your food.
Do yourself
was
a favour, Weird Hal. Don't eat more. Don't eat kobold chicken anymore.
it was cooked.
Yes, but it could. You don't know what it was
think had
seasoned. You
something
don't know what it
weird
was.
in it. Yeah, I
but
think it had
might have
something
been
weird in
seasoned
it.
with something, you know.
All right.
Okay, so who's
It
so,
tasted
so
good.
who's heading off to see Nighthill?
I am.
I will join to see Nighthill with Rogar if he still wants to go that direction.
That is where I'm heading.
I'm gonna lead Pedrick the Entertainer to the temple.
Roll the cards with the
Okay.
increases luck.
All right. Well, let's start with the temple quickly. Let's do the temple. As you part ways, you start walking up towards where you remember, Weird Hal, where the temple to Chantier is. Things look a bit different, because things aren't on fire and it's not dark anymore, but you kind of find your way towards the temple of Chantier. And as you reach the building, you notice that the door that was broken in by the kobolds and by the cultists has been removed. So the actual temple is open to anyone now. There's sort of almost like a steel mesh or a wire mesh or something that seems to be put to one side so it can be put over the entrance at night, maybe. It's almost like chicken wire, that's sort of like a steel mesh. And so as you approach, you can see that there's a number of villagers that seem to be up at the temple, all involved in trying to repair any damage to the building. It seems to have held up quite well, though. It was quite a sturdy building beforehand. Churches and temples tend to be pretty sturdy buildings, as they were often used as actual final places to go in if there was a siege. So normally they're quite sturdy buildings. And Temple of Chantier is no different. As you sort of walk up to the temple, you get a chance to actually look at it and appreciate it now. And it's quite small as temples go. It's quite a squat building. It's made out of a sort of grey carved stone. It's quite nondescript, actually. If you look at it, it could just be like a very long log house. But obviously made out of stone, almost like a long, important stone building. It doesn't actually have anything denoting it as a church, except for one thing. And when you look at the building, you see that actually there are glass windows on this building, and they are very brightly colored. They seem to be showing scenes of the harvest and of raising lambs and ewes, and also of sort of flowers and birds. It's all very sort of like spring-like theme motif. This is actually this is what will show it as an important building, because obviously at this time glassmaking is well known and it's well practiced, but it's still quite expensive. And so most people just make do with wooden shutters on their windows. This is something which would show that this building is in good state. And miraculously, it appears that all of these windows, despite the fact that the building was under siege, have remained intact.
All right. DM.
Yes.
250 gold. Is that split 5 ways or is that each?
No, that was each.
Wow. Okay.
That was each for your hard work and dedication, Governor Nighthill. You went and took under a very dangerous mission, and actually came out of it really unscathed.
The first thing I want to do is to put 10% of that into the poor box at the church.
Okay. As you do, so you deposit 25 gold and remove that from your character sheet.
I'm doing that right now. Hold on. 25. 5, 2. Okay.
And as you do so, you feel like almost like a slight warmth, which sort of goes up your arm, okay, through your body, and seems to go down, 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 and you know properly where it went. And it's a very warm, fuzzy feeling.
Whoa! Seriously?
This is the temple to the goddess of fertility.
No, yeah, I know that, but I didn't think it was gonna work like that. Good. I mean, I'm like pants tenting now.
Well, we're not doing any of those actions in this game.
I'm like, Pedrick,
you might have advantage.
Pedrick, put a tithe in this box, dude. You gotta try this.
I wish I just thought this through better.
It's weird how.
GM, very quickly. DM, sorry to interject very quickly, but last game, due to some RP, I was given inspiration and haven't used it. How long will that last for?
If you haven't used it, I would say you can keep it until.
The thing with inspiration is that if you
can only have one.
If you don't lose it, you might miss a chance to get another one.
Yeah.
Right. No worries.
So you can't have 2 inspiration.
Yep. No worries. Thank you. That's it.
All right, so I'm going to give you a so you can put on your sheet a minor blessing of Shantia. Okay, in your next attempt to persuade or charm someone, you will have an advantage.
Oh, all right.
That is how I will say this works.
I have advantage on my next. What are they again?
On your next attempt to persuade or charm someone, you will have an advantage. It lasts for 24 hours.
Nice, thank you.
Okay, so yes, so you've been to the temple of Shantia, and you have received a minor blessing from the goddess for your generosity to the widows and orphans.
I would also, I don't know what Pedrick is doing, but I would also like to offer a prayer to Timora in silence, and then to play a appropriately themed song for the people who are worshiping here at the temple.
Okay, so you take you sort of stand and obviously quite solemnly you're in the middle of this sort of church, and there's people praying for their loved ones and the spirits of their loved ones, and you play a almost melancholy tune which sort of then spirals up into a happier and a more cheerful sort of jaunty tune as it goes. So it's almost like moving from sadness to better things. That's kind of the theme of your song.
I got a 23 on the check, by the way.
You have definitely a lot of the few people who are in the temple at this time. Obviously, it's the middle of the day, and most people are out working or doing what they need to do for repairing the town. But those people that are there look up at you with appreciation, and as you do so, you also notice Falcon Moon, who you may remember is the half-elf priest of the town, and he also sort of comes out of a little room towards the end of the church on the opposite end to watch you play. And as you finish, he claps appreciatively, and all the others sort of start. Very well done, dear sir. Oh, thank you for coming and spreading your good cheer with us this day.
Okay, I would like to introduce. What's his name? Sun Moon?
Falcon Moon.
Falcon Moon. I would like to introduce Falcon Moon to my friend Pedrick.
And so, yeah. Okay, sorry. So you're introducing. Okay, excellent, no problem. So Falcon Moon turns to Pedrick, looking at this imposing war-clad cleric, and he gives a solemn bow. Greetings, brother.
Greetings, brother. He responds in tone and walks into the place up to the man, almost like he owns the joint. Looks around a little bit to see who is actually in the room and around him, and then says, "Brother, I would like to pray. Would you pray with us?" And then he looks over at Weird Al and he says, "My friend here has been ill, and I think he could use some more prayer."
Okay, so Falcon Moon looks at you and he says, "After what you did for us, your brotherhood is welcome here anytime, and of course, I will pray with you."
Aww.
Okay, so he takes you sort of almost across the shoulder, and he leads you to sort of a little alcove, which is you can see it's not a special area. It's where anyone can come and pray. This is, there's not a lot of ceremony in Shantia's temple. It's a working man's temple, and most people come in and pray when they have time. And so he comes and he sort of sets you. He says, "Here, brother, together we shall pray. Pray for the betterment of Greenest. Pray for the betterment of our peoples, and pray for the flourishing of brotherhood." Okay, and yeah, so together you start praying. Weird Hal.
Yes.
What? So he bows his head solemnly and closes his eyes. What will you be doing while they are praying? Weird?
I'm going to pray right along. I'm going to give thanks. I'm going to give thanks to Timora for our good luck so far in not yet being dead.
Okay, so you're also praying to Timora. Can I ask, Kellum, do you know which god you worship? Do you have a god that you worship?
I have not decided on that as of yet. I'll have to look that up and give you a better answer on the next occasion. Because
the main god of war is Tempest, and Tempest is a god of war. His symbol is an upright flaming sword, and he's a neutral god, so he's worshipped by both good and evil people. If you want someone who's like a good god, then you want Torm, who is the god of courage and self-sacrifice.
That's more his speed.
Well, his symbol, he's a lawful good god, and his symbol is a white gauntlet.
Perfect. Okay, Torm.
The white hand of Torm.
So I make a little bit of pompous and show out of my act. Everything is got to be perfect. So he takes off his sword and he lays it down in front of him, and he kneels and gives us a brief prayer to Torm. And as he's listening and hears what's going on, he looks over to Weird Hal and he shakes his head and he looks up and he goes, "He still thinks it's luck. He still thinks it's luck." And then he begins to pray a little bit more.
Weird Hal is obliviously praying to the goddess of luck, the god of luck. Sorry. While all the while that Pedrick is kind of disparaging your worship to the god of luck.
Gotta love a little bit of self-righteous passive aggressiveness, don't you?
You've got to have some self-righteousness when you got a cleric. But you can probably think that Falcon Moon's probably sitting in his hair. He says, he thinks it's about bloodshed. It's just completely the same thing. That's the problem when you've got a multi-theological system. Everybody's got their own god, and everybody's god is right.
Well, it's just a matter of chance, which culture you grew up in.
No, exactly, and that's the thing about the multitude of gods in the Forgotten Realms. It's everybody has like their own sort of plane, but they do overlap, and so you can see a lot of people with multiple perspectives.
I feel like Weird Hal is very much open to all forms of religion.
Well, Chontia seems to like you, so
equally ridiculous.
Yeah, Chontia seems to like you, so you've already made a friend in another goddess.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so we have some very solemnly praying people, and maybe one who is not who is played a jaunty tune and made everybody feel good in the temple. While that's happening, we're going to switch over with split screen, flash fade into Rogar and Vistra. we need the what was it, the like the Transformers thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like that. Gonna be like Dragon Face, and then do Weird Hal's head.
Spinning.
It has to be Weird Hal's. Weird Hal always goes off and does something during the thing. So it'd be like a very stern dragon head, and then turns, then it comes up, goes back in his Weird Hal. All right, I love that, and we have to do that. All right, so let's move on. Rogar, Vistra. So you're standing where the others have left you, and you are so you're standing where the other two left you. And you are sort of surrounded, as I said, by militia and people who are working to try and repair some of the town. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, well, I suppose we're just going to have a look. We're just going to have a look for Governor Nighthill. So I suppose I'm just going to start. I imagine he'll probably be overseeing some major constructions or sorting somebody out. So yeah, I'm going to look for the moments of activity, looking for Governor Nighthill, basically.
Okay, so you sort of wander around town, looking for large knots of people that might indicate that Nighthill is somewhere to be seen. And when you sort of wander around a little bit, you realize that in the main town area, you can't really see Governor Nighthill. Luckily for you, however, you notice walking in sort of like a train of them. There's about 6 or 7 militia, and they seem to be heading towards the mill.
Excellent.
And since there seems to be the largest concentration of soldiers you've seen, it might be something to do with Nighthill or Escobar. So you can reason that large amounts of soldiers probably mean that there's probably someone important nearby.
Excellent. Well, in that case, then I'll just nudge to Vistra, and I'll point to those. Because I'm so big, I'm going to end up leaving her behind a little bit. But I'll just quickly catch up with these guys, and I'll excuse me, you there, guards, some assistance if you don't mind.
As you get closer to the guards, you see one of them that you recognise. This is Sergeant Marketh. If you remember Sergeant Marketh,
yes.
his family were being held by Cyan Rat, and you guys already went down to fight to free them. So he comes forward. My friends. What can I do for you?
Greetings, Sergeant. I wonder if you can point me in the direction of where we could find Governor Nighthill, if you'd be so kind.
Yes, we'd love to give him more details about what happened when we were at the Raiders' camp.
He turns to Vistra, and then he looks back at Rogar, looks at you both, and he goes, That is very fortunate. Actually, we were actually we weren't looking for you, but we were told if we were to come across you after you'd woken up to point you towards the mill, and that's where we're going. Governor Nighthill is actually inspecting the damage to the mill at this time. So you're welcome to follow us up to the mill, and we will. I'll point you out to him when we arrive.
Marvelous coincidence. Well, we'll accompany you.
Very well. Please, you're always welcome. The heroes of Greenest are always welcome at any time. Please follow me. Nighthill, I'm sure Governor Nighthill will be exceptionally happy to speak with you. So you sort of, as you walk up sort of towards the mill, you accompany with Mark. You do a bit of small talk with him, and as you arrive up at the mill, you can see. You remember the mill was pretty much undamaged. But there was some outlying sort of damage caused by the fires. And you can see Governor Nighthill sort of standing there, still one arm in a sling, one eye covered by a bandage. The matron seems to be fussing. The matronly dwarf that you noticed in the keep seems to be fussing over him as he's standing there. He's waving her away. Get away, blast you! And sort of like pushing her away whenever she's fussing with his bandages. She's like, "You big Jesse, you do me out of bed yet? Just, leave me alone. I'm trying to inspect the damages." she's like, "Don't come crying to me if you get sepsis."
I'm going to call out, matron. It's just a flesh wound. Don't worry about it.
He'd say it was a flesh wound if he had no legs and no arms.
That's what a flesh wound is, isn't it?
She like rolls her eyes. You warriors, get up here and talk to him. He's been jittery all morning.
I suppose I'll just break into a jog and I'll catch up. Get up to him.
Nighthill turns and goes, you wonderful, you are a blessed sight from my eyes. You here to rescue me from this wretched harp. Towards the matron. Sorry,
Did
yes.
you call her a wretched harpy?
Yes.
When I saw that prisoner die, what description his features were, because you said that I knew that he was definitely related to someone in Greenest, and if the matron is here right now, I would like to speak with her to pass on this information to the family member, if she knows of him, that I recall seeing in the first aid when I was with Aurelio.
Okay, so
I don't know what he looks like.
Okay, so what you would notice? What do you remember about that individual? Is he had quite short, sandy hair. He was quite stocky of build. Had sort of a craggy face with sort of like almost like a broken nose. You would have. It's not like he had incredibly distinct features, but you would have recognized a familial resemblance to someone else in the town. It was the set of the eyes, the cut of the jaw, but you recognized something that made you think of another person that you'd seen in town. This older gentleman that you'd seen in town. So, I mean, you could always, obviously, you could always ask which one didn't come back, because of all the prisoners came from Greenest. So you could have you could certainly ask about the absent individual.
Okay, so I say to, sorry, Base.
I was just going to interject just very, very quickly. I say I'll get down and I'll whisper to Vistra. I don't think I'm going to give Nighthill an entire report here. I think there's something he should do first. Do you want to talk to the matron, and I'll just quickly grab Nighthill's ear, and then we'll head back to the keep and the others.
That is fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. There you go. And then we'll have these conversations separately.
Okay. So I'll go with Missy first because she was mentioning the. So Missy, so you grab the. Sorry, Missy, you shouldn't be Missy. Vistra. So you sort of walk towards the. You walk towards the matron and sort of gesture that you'd like to speak with her privately. She looks at you exasperated, looks back over at Governor Nighthill and sort of like harumphs and sort of stalks away towards you. She comes to see. My dear, how can I help you?
I saw you having to deal with Nighthill over there. They can be such a pain in the ass, can't they? But what I really wanted to talk with you very quickly was, do you know which of the prisoners, because I'm sure you had to look after them and heal them, which of the prisoners did not return?
Ah, indeed. Yes, some of them were very poorly treated. They're currently recovering up at the castle. The only reason I'm down here is because this big just insists on wandering around the town when he's not fully. Anyway, yes, one of we're still missing one of our lads. The boy's name is Galdus Caro. His father Catechus is distraught. We've heard from the other prisoners that he was killed by one of the cultists, and there was nothing. And she puts rests a hand on your shoulder. There was nothing you could have done, child. Nothing you could have done.
I know, it was still hard to see.
Well, we're thankful that you managed to get the rest back.
I know.
I mean, believe me, we understand. You couldn't have just jumped down and attacked him or defended him like that. You were in the middle of a camp. You can't have done anything.
But please, can you pass on a message to Catechus for me, and tell him that I do not like anyone killing anyone, but I especially do not like it when they go for someone vulnerable or young. And so please tell Catechus that I will put it as the highest priority in my heart, that if I ever come across and hunt down this nicely dressed but very nasty cultist, that I will take him out.
Oh, you already did. I'm sorry. I'm just to remind you already did. You guys killed him when he came around. Do you remember?
My apologies. Anyone that looks like him, I will.
Okay.
This is not the end.
She looks at you and she says, "No." She says, "I appreciate that. Make them bleed, child." And sort of pats you on the arm. She says, "Now you better get back to your friend."
I will. And one last thing to the matron. When I hopefully get a chance, I will return back to the first aid area and help wherever I can. So don't expect me to disappear from helping those that are vulnerable.
She gives her sort of a little. She looks at you and she gives a little wry laugh. She says, "I can't keep you out of my tent even if I tried. You're all going around just poking and prodding my patients. But I appreciate the thought."
Not at all. And I let her go.
She sort of bustles back over and sort of stands hands on hips, sort of looking at where Nighthill is. I think we've lost.
We lost Maniacs. Yeah, we lost Weird Hal for a second.
Okay, so he's sort of sitting there, and she's got her arms, and she's tapping her foot, looking impatiently over at Rogar, having his conversation. So Rogar, you sort of while Vistra goes to one side, Rogar, you take Governor Nighthill. You come up to Governor Nighthill. You don't touch him. You come up to Governor Nighthill and you sort of indicate that you want to speak with him privately. He sort of gestures and you move away a little bit towards a bit away from the mill. And he looks at you and he says, "Rogar, my dear boy, how can I help this morning? Do you have something for me?"
Well, yes. I mean, kind of. You have me at a moral conundrum here, Governor. You see, of course, we have come back from the enemy camp, and we have a full report to make to you. And you, of course, have paid us handsomely upon our return. However, I feel that there might be something you must do before I can give a report to you. You see, the monk.
So you're interested?
You see the monk we brought back with us.
Yes, dear Learson. I know him. He's recovering down in the infirmary. I believe he. That reminds me. Before we continue, now we brought him up. Learson wishes to speak with you He will need a few days to recover, but he wishes to speak with you once he's up and about again. He said it's very important.
Very, very well. I will go there as soon as he's ready to receive me. However, Master Leosin almost gave his life in the camp, and he did it under the guise of gaining information. Now, I feel it would do Master Leosin a disservice if I were to give you a full report on everything we know on the enemy camp, when that's what he was for, and we came out virtually unscathed. Now, I don't know how you wish us to do this. I feel terrible if I told you everything I knew about the enemy camp, and going to Master Leosin and finding out that you already know everything he almost gave his life for.
He looks at you. Well, it's almost an appreciation in his mind. The honesty has touched him of your speech, and he looks at you. He goes. He looks at you, and he reaches out and he puts an arm on your scaly forearm, sort of on your gesturing forearms. He said, "Peace, Rogar, peace. Yes, I did ask you to go and find information, but Leosin was also looking to find information, but he was not doing so under my direction, but on his own impetus. You went and put yourself in danger, and you went and gathered information for us under my direction. So of course you will be getting paid, and I would love to hear everything, all the information that you can give me. Leosin, of course, will probably share his information as well, but it will be several days before he's up and about and ready to speak, and I need that information as soon as possible. So I relieve you of your moral conundrum by pointing out these points for your consideration, and hope that you will now share the information which I desperately need to keep this town safe."
Oh, very, very, very well. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that certainly helps. And at this point, is Vistra coming over? Because I did say I wasn't going to give a full report.
Vistra sort of she's finished, and she's sort of she's pottering over towards you, right past the matron, who is you notice more and more frustrated.
I look over to the matron and I sort of give a, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to be taking up Governor Nighthill's time."
Nighthill follows your gaze. He's like, "That woman would see me confined to her bed for a month."
I joke to him.
Not all bad.
I joke to him and say, "Yeah, I could probably help her do that though. So be careful."
He says, "Spinach soup, that's all she wants me to eat. She's got a thing for that stuff. I hate spinach. I hate it."
No medical tent pudding.
No, she's obsessed with the healing power of that filthy plant.
Pudding is the best part.
This just says, are we ready, Rogar, to give Governor Nighthill the report?
Yes, I mean, Governor Nighthill has relieved me of my moral conundrum. So yeah,
I quizzically look at Rogar, but go straight into it. Okay, so I say to Governor Nighthill that okay, so I went off sneaking to scout around the camp, and what I found was that it was a like a horseshoe sort of style terrain. I don't know if you know this area. We go across and
not without my maps.
No, okay. Basically, the further we got in, the more detailed, the more elaborate the tents became. Whereas at the start, it was more shabby, where the kobolds were generally at. There seemed to be around. Let me go to my notes. Oh, let me go in order. So, but before I get into that, let me just tell you that I went there to look for if the camp had grown, for more wanderers coming in and adding to the population. I was also trying to work out the different ways of getting the prisoners out. We also noted that there were 6 human prisoners. We never saw a half-elf called Talis there, unfortunately. However, as you already know, we found Leosin. Okay, so So I heard a lot of crying, and that's when I was sneaking closer to an area where the prisoners were, and this is where I was going above the main horseshoe rock area that was above the actual camp itself. As I went along that, I heard some weeping, and it was the prisoners, and that is when, unfortunately, the prisoner Galvis.
Galdus, dear boy, yes, Galdus.
Yes, Galdus was slaughtered by the cultists, but never fear, because the cultist was dealt with.
Good, I had to hear it.
Yes, I also noticed that there was around 4 big-looking dragon drake creatures around the main big tent. Much bigger than the normal drakes we've seen so far, just so you know. And they did seem to sniff when we got a little bit too close for comfort. And so we do have to be very wary that their noses are very sharp. Also, we found... we also got close. There's 2 towers. There's 2 watchtowers. There's one watchtower at the start of the camp that was empty, and then another one where I was on the rock area of the horseshoe, which had two guards at the top and 1 guard at the bottom that were generally focusing on that area. But if you carry on around that horseshoe, if you go to the other side, there is actually a lot more tents of kobolds. Mm-hmm. Okay. We also. As you already know, we got the rest of the prisoners out. Our companion Aurelio set fire to the watchtower to cause a distraction, which was a massive help, as well. I don't know why Cyanrath kept wanting to knock the 7 blights out of Leosin for information. I'm not sure what he thinks Leosin was supposed to know. But he seemed to very much be interested in hurting him, nevertheless. So there was a number of huts. I'm just trying to find my note about how many there were. Sorry.
Well, I've got that written. I've got that here as well.
You've got that too. Yeah. Oh, that was it. Rogar informed me when he was looking around that there was 100 kobolds, along with 80 cultists. That
was before you found the extra kobolds above at the top of the plateau.
But that's not including the extra ones that I found.
And we also found out who are the leaders.
Yes, we found out that there was Resmir, the black half dragon, who seems to be more of the boss of everyone so far. Then we have Cyanrath, as we have already met, the blue dragon. Half dragon, and he seems to be Resmir's sort of right-hand man in this area. Indeed, and then Rogar can give, I think, more information about Ferren Monrath, the sorcerer.
Well, that's pretty much all we have, actually. Our master Leosin had heard who Thrallum Mondath was, who's a high priest and is a sorcerer. We don't know of her race, or if it's even a her. We don't know the race or they're part of the hierarchy. The only thing we would say is, if you don't know where the camp is, it's basically 2 hours trek southeast from this position in a horseshoe plateau. And one final thing from me. I actually came across a halfling who has been working in your keep as a cook.
Yes.
What?
You have a halfling who has been working in your kitchens as a cook for the last 3 months.
Yes.
I don't know if any kobolds have either gone missing, or if you any halflings have gone missing over the last day, or if there is only one halfling in your kitchens.
That's interesting. We have several halflings. Halflings are amazing cooks, as you probably know. Most of the food that I have prepared for me is made by halfling cooks.
Can I? I've seen this halfling. Can I give him a description? I don't think I asked at the time.
Yes, you can a basic description of her. She was short.
She was short.
She was short. She had quite rosy. Her hair was a sort of a dirty blonde, and it was pulled back into a pigtail underneath her hood. She had weirdly coloured orange eyes, and she seemed to be quite cheerful, quite youthful. That's probably all you would remember, because it was a quite quick.
Yeah, recalling that, I will then at least try to explain that to Nighthill as who that could be.
He says, off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure who you're referring to, but if there is someone missing from my kitchen, I believe it would be a good idea to inform Escobar.
She may not be missing.
Castellan.
She may not be missing either. By the time that I actually spoke with her, she believed I was one of the cultists. So she may not believe that her cover is blown. And then we shall set a trap. And she was also the one who opened the sally port during the attack.
Well, then we will certainly do everything we can to apprehend her. And I agree, it's probably a good idea to get someone down into the kitchens as soon as possible to check her out. I will inform Escobar the moment I return to the keep, and he will launch an inquiry as to the presence or the non-presence of this halfling. Thank you for telling me. It's most frightfully important that I know these things.
I'd also like to add on to that, to Governor Nighthill, and I'd like to say, and by the way, we weren't able to check all the tents, so we don't know if Talis could still technically be there or not. I am not sure. But however, I did notice something strange with regards to.
He looks at you. You mean Talis? Do you mean the elf ranger who went missing several days ago?
Yes. Weird Hal's friend had been there and had come into the Greenest Keep and had mentioned that Talis had gone missing, and so to ask to keep an eye out. And so we can't be 100% certain that she is or is not still at this camp, but we have not seen her as. However, I would also like to point out that with regards to the young prisoner that died.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The cultists seemed to have dragged him away, and when I had returned, he had disappeared. I noticed like a dark red trail, unfortunately, that seemed to lead behind a big tent, and behind that towards the side of the sort of rock horseshoe that I had been using to be on top of. So I do not know if there is perhaps a secret entrance there. And lastly, there is, however, another secret entrance, which is a cave that we very luckily, because it was very well hidden, and that cave was to the right-hand side of the horseshoe of the rock. You have to climb up a little bit to get into, which we luckily did use for our wits about us and working out what to do.
He looks at you. He looks a little bit taken aback. You guys have, but he's definitely intrigued and interested, and his face breaks into a sort of almost like a worried grin. He says, "Well, my friends, you've done more than I expected. You managed to find out who were the main ringleaders, and you found out the numbers of the enemies we have to face, and also you even uncovered a potential fifth column in my own kitchens."
Just to add a cherry onto the top here, Governor, if you would like to send out a few trusted people in your under your command, we also came across a few trinkets and shiny things that have been stolen. And I'd just like to explain to him how to get there to the camp that we first came to.
Right, so you give him some quite convoluted directions. You go around here, you go there, look for the carcass of a prairie hen. Pointing out, he's sort of. Okay, well, that sounds. That's definitely something that's important. I will contact the yeoman, one of my yeomen, and he will probably I will inform the bursar, and he'll be able to tell who at the next town meeting sort of we'll get these treasures back, and then we'll be able to disseminate them correctly at the next town meeting. So I'll send. Yes, it's a good idea. I'll send out a few people that we can spare. Probably not soldiers, but a few scouts or a few hunters.
I'd like to ask Governor Nighthill. I'd like to say to understand that with your keep at this time, you do not have a lot of warriors. You have a lot of people that will defend themselves, but there is not many of them.
No, indeed, no. Well, we're not a warrior people here, my dear. This is basic. Most of my soldiers are farmers. These are they only wear their war gear when we're in trouble, and at the moment it seems most prudent to keep them prepared and ready to fight. But the minute that we are aware that there's no looming danger, they'll be putting down their swords and picking up their plows.
I understand that's very similar with your guards as well, that they are not exactly professional.
I have several guards that are full-time guards, but of them, yes. I mean, I have about a score of guards that are full-time defenders of the keep, but the rest of them are, yes, just as I said, our local militia.
Possible, Governor Nighthill, if we could arrange a meeting with all of our companions, because we are not all here at this moment, and begin discussing what it is you would like to have to keep. Many, and we do have some skills. However, I do not think we could take on this camp in our group. So we need to.
He looks at you. He looks at you, nods, and says, I agree. However, it probably would be best to wait until Leosin is up on his feet again, so we can get any further information from him that we may have missed.
Does that mean we have 3 days? 3 days?
Basically,
like 3 days to do whatever we want.
So after you. So we just finished up speaking with Nighthill. Nighthill is sort of like you can see he's looking more and more fearful as the matron she starts to storm towards. So you guys sort of recognize that Nighthill is going back to his bed no matter what, no matter what he says.
Grab him by the ear.
As you're sort of pushed to the side by the matron, she looks at him and she looks at him. I knew you when you were a wee boy. You're not too big for me to take you over my knee. Now you get back to the keep.
He's gonna get a spanking.
He's like, matron, not in front of the.
He's gonna get a whooping.
Matron, not quite that. But definitely looking rather cowed. Escobar is not there to back him up. He's on his own.
He kicks his foot at an imaginary pebble. Oh shit!
Yeah. Ah, shucks, summer's over. So he's got to. You're sort of bustled away from this meeting with Nighthill. But yes, he has arranged to. He has agreed to meet with you again. When Leosin is recovered. Now you will have several days now while you are in Greenest, waiting for Leosin to recover. It will take 3 days for him to do so. And so while this is happening, you basically are going to be spending your time in Greenest however you see fit.
3 days.
Rogar will spend that time doing various ironmongery duties for various fixings ups for the town.
I am going to start offering music lessons for children.
Okay, all right. So you're offering music lessons. Parents are grateful. Most of them are grateful, and yet at the same time they sort of apologize, but they say we need the children in the fields, we need the children out there helping us around the town.
Whichever kids can do it.
You get one or two enthusiastic people. Some of the one or two of the more well-off members of town are interested in you tutoring their sons and daughters to become a bit more accomplished, as they say, a bit more accomplished. One of your pupils for these 2 days is Cobbler the Tailor's granddaughter, who so you have little Cobbler the Tailor granddaughter spends some of those days learning the is it the lute you play? The lute?
I have proficiencies in many instruments, but I think for young children, the drum is easiest to learn.
So you teach Cobbler the Tailor's daughter the drum, and on the third day, you are accosted by a very red-eyed Cobbler the Tailor who's sort of, "What did you teach her?" Sort of shaking you. Make her stop.
Has she been practicing every night?
On pails, on buckets. Everything that she can turn over and start banging.
You should get her a drum and have her practice outside.
He says, "I've invented a weapon of war. There are no kobolds are going to come back while she's doing that."
You broke up a little bit for me there, Jim.
I'm thinking of parking her up in one of the watchtowers as an early warning system.
Well, I will offer other instruments at a later time, but we had a limited amount of time to work in. I mean, I'll only be here for so many days before we'll be back on our journey.
Okay. Kellum says he's going to... Sorry, Kellum, you say you're going to drink? Is that right?
He doesn't have a mic, which is why I asked him in the chat.
Okay, so
he's going to
Kellum
drink.
is going to drink, heal some of the sick and wounded, and he's going to get his armor and sword repaired. Okay. You didn't really get in. You didn't get into a fight where the durability of the sword or your seemed to take any significant damage. Remember, you were mainly crossbowing and shooting them. But you can definitely get your sword sharpened on the whetstone and get your armor buffed and polished. And you spend the rest of those days sort of helping out amongst the wounded and the sick of Greenest's prisoners.
GM, I have
the evening's drinking.
Something just reminded me. I have a funeral to attend at some point in the future. Is that at all in these 3 days?
No, she has to lie in state for a certain amount of time. I believe it's a whole 10 days. She has to be prepared. Remember, Falcon Moon told you that they aren't really ready to prepare these things yet, and probably not at this time. I'll double check, but I believe there's still about 3 days before it needs to be done. I'll double check that though.
Okay. Just checking.
I also want to harass
it was at the end of the 10 day. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 days.
Right. Okay.
Before it's done.
Right. I also want to harass Cobbler while I have his attention about where's my purple robe? You said 2 days.
He said, I said 2 days. I did say 2 days, but you have to come and collect them.
Well, you were coming over here anyway.
You're in town. I know you were in town. You were carted in holding your stomach. We all saw it. I'm not sending out an expensive half.
I'm gonna walk past with a massive eye beam on my shoulder and go, "Told ya," and then just carried on.
I will make time to do that in the evening.
All right. So as you go to the town, he says, "Card, please."
Oh, sure. So I reach in my backpack and I pull out my little membership card.
Yeah, so you got this. This is your membership card, and this is the new swanky card that you've received from you received from Kellum.
This
Sorry,
is the
from
one
Pedrick.
that has. That's the
Pedrick
one that
found you.
has. This
The
is the one
locator
that has
spell on
the,
it, yes.
yeah, it's a scrying.
Well,
A
both of
location
them,
spell?
yeah, both of them have a locator spell on them. It's just that because they were both tuned to the same individual, they were able to resonate and find you. So this is so now now you have the official card or card founding member of the greenest guild of tailors and seamstresses. At the moment, it seems that there is just Cobbler the tailor himself and two local women who weave on the loom. But it could be a growing industry. And Cobbler the tailor, he takes your card, he looks at it, he sniffs it a little bit, and he sort of looks at it and touches it with his tongue, and all seems to be in order. And he sort of passes it back, and he goes, "Yes."
No, you hold on to that. It's got your spit on it now.
He says, "No refunds." Hands it back to you.
All right.
He says, you talk to me. I've spoken to some of your companions. Eating a half-eaten chicken. Call me disgusting. Sort of passes it back to you.
It was cooked. It was cooked.
Kobolds! By kobolds, you fool!
What do I know?
No, it wasn't. Carry on.
I grew up in a temple. I don't know. I never ate kobold food before.
Oh yes, random food. I see a chicken on the floor. I shall.
I'm a hungry
What
person.
could the consequences be? I wonder.
I'm like Shaggy. I'm hungry.
So he is Shaggy. Shaggy, is this some sort of deity?
Shaggy the Hungry. Yeah. You know, Shaggy the Hungry.
Shaggy the Hungry. Sounds like an orcish deity to me.
That sounds right.
The battle cry of Zoinks! Anyway, so he takes the card, he hands it back to you, and he sort of reaches down behind the counter and he says, I was able to get majority of the blood stains out. The rest of them are so faded into the purple you would barely see them. He pulls them out and he goes, as requested. And he pulls it out and it's got the filigree that you wanted and the decoration. How is it supposed to look again? Sorry, I didn't write down what you were
a border around the edge of the hood, and then a W on the right breast.
Okay, so a W on the right breast. So yeah, so you see like this embroidered, almost illuminated letter W on the right
fantastic.
breast, and around it, sort of almost like a frilly sort of like gold filigree around the top. It looks quite good. The work seems to be of quite exquisite quality. It just disappeared. Oh no, Kellum's back. Hey, Kellum.
Yeah, we had a bad
Missy's
Discord
disappeared?
connection.
Yeah, Discord fell off for a second, but it's okay.
Okay, I think we're okay. We're still on stream. We're still okay.
The stream is still okay. Yeah, the
Okay,
stream's still good. I think we just need to wait for. We just need Missy to come back into the chat. I think.
Okay, Missy, you coming back? Trying to.
Okay.
She's fed up. She's had it.
Well, she spent the last 10 minutes listening to me describe the knicker frills around the top of your hood.
It looks great. It looks fantastic. I'm very pleased with it.
Oh, what pass again?
He
You
passes
look like a pimp.
He passes it over to you. He passes it over to you, and he says, "You do indeed, yes. All you need is a cane and a feathered hat. I don't sell those." He says before you even think of asking. He passes.
I was going to ask about hats. Where can I get a hat?
A hat? I'm not a hat. I don't make hats. I make clothing. I don't.
I asked. I know who makes hats around here. Somebody's got to wear. I see people wearing hats. There's got to be somebody making.
Well, most people make their own straw hats. They're not exactly the height of fashion, you know.
Oh.
I don't know who makes hats.
I've never seen one of those before.
What's a hat maker called?
That's called a.
It's not haberdashery, is it?
A hatter.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, it's either a milliner, a milliner, or a hatter. Or he says, "Do you want to take me for a hatter or a glover?" He says, "If you want a hat, I suggest you ask in one of the bigger cities. If you want a hat especially, I can try and import one for you, but it will take some time."
No, I think I'm going to hold off on ordering a hat. I prefer to be able to see something and choose it in person when it suits.
I can make a hood. I can make a mantle for you.
Is it like what deals with the hood and the shoulder?
Yeah, it's like this. It's like separate. You would have the mantle is like the clothing, and you would have the hood on top, and it's like two separate pieces of clothing.
Yeah, I want one of those. That'll be my first. Send that on my first package. I'll just have to pick out the fabric, and we'll be done.
Okay. Yeah. So it's sort of like a loose garment that goes over the top, so with a hood. So yeah, he said, "Okay, I will." He says, "Okay, I will try and I will do my best to do that." So the neon pink silk will be used to create the mantle. Okay.
Wait, did I pick neon silk pink?
Well, hey, don't forget, he's just jotting down notes. So when the half elf comes to you, he'll bring you some fabric samples. You get to choose what your mantle's made out of.
Right, okay. I just hope he doesn't jot down that note and then make that, because that's not what I want.
That's in another 5 days.
I don't want I can't even say it. I don't want a pink silk hood.
Okay. Well, you know
what? No, I do. I don't care. Either way.
Okay, so Vistra, what are you going to be doing in this time?
I would like to try and find out the sneaky type of people. Start to find information about different hideouts, different of infiltrating areas, especially around Raiders camp area. If there's anyone that has any maps or knowledge, any.
You know,
okay. We're losing you a little bit.
If we're talking about that, though, I did have an idea.
I think you're looking to the local
You're not talking
Thieves
about
Guild,
that at the moment. You're having your sort of like your separate things. When we come together, you can sort of share that then. So Vistra is going to spend some time trying to dig around for unsavory contact, who might be able to give us some more information. So one thing you do come across, you sort of like talk to some of your contacts, maybe some. This is a small town. There's not a lot of shady people here, but there are people who hear things, who have friends in other towns, and maybe who have unsavory connections. In the tavern, you do manage to bump into a peddler. And this peddler is sort of just looking to pass through. He's been stuck in Greenest because of the attack, and he's too afraid to move on at the moment. And he does tell you that he has heard that there are a number of people who have been recruited to work with what seems to be quite a suspicious religious organization, and that they are actively recruiting more people, mainly those of a shady disposition, a lot of bandits, and people have sort of he knows of the few people he knows of that have a shady disposition seem to be thinking about signing up with them. They seem to be paying very well. And sorry, is she coming back? So they seem to be paying very well, and And apparently there are recruiters in a lot of major cities. They're masquerading, seem to be masquerading as a legitimate religious order.
If he says that so loud, everybody's going to hear it.
All right. So your 3 days have passed. Rogar, you've got quite a good reputation around the town for helping out. You, Weird Hal, have become known as the menace who teaches kids how to bang pots together and make lots of noise. Callum, you've also been you've got sort of like a good sort of reputation going for you as well. You have a you've done some good works around the town, and you're a reassuring presence walking around in your armor. Is that me? Can people hear me?
I heard you all right.
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yay! I don't know what
And
happened.
so you've got sort of reputation as quite a reassuring presence. The rest of your order has returned to the city in Elutrel, sorry. You've returned that to the city in Elutrel, but at the same time, the fact you've remained behind and seem to be involved in the defense and the protection of the town, very reassuring for people. And Vistra's found some information. She sort of disappeared off a little bit. You guys haven't seen a lot of her. She seems to have been spending a lot of time up at the pubs, but never coming back drunk. Just seems to be gathering. So she comes back a bit furtively, a bit secretively, and you know that when she's ready to tell you all the information, she will. How are we doing, Missy? No, I can't hear anything. Okay. Basically, you awake on this day. And the first thing each of you hears is there's a knock on your door. And there is a young maid servant outside, and she's sort of knocking on everyone's doors. And as you sort of come out, she says, "He's awake. I was told to fetch you."
Bacon?
No, we're going to go see Master
He's
Leosin. And
So,
I'll
he's
grab.
awake. The monk, Leosin, he's awoken. His apprentice Nassim told me to come and fetch you.
I'll grab Weird Hal by the scruff of the
this
neck. I'll
calls
say,
for
"Come on, get moving," and I'll just drag him all the way with. I'll
She
drag
looks
him
at
with
you
me.
and goes, "Everything calls for bacon."
Agreed.
I
But now I
cannot
must get my
disagree with
rest.
that.
Somebody woke me up to tell me some monk was awake. Growls a little bit, shuts his door, and gets dressed.
As
You
walk-
answered the
as
door
walk-
naked?
Hell yeah! How do you know what they wanted?
She blushes coyly and says, "Oh, sir, please."
How you doing?
Well, then don't knock on my
Shuffles
door.
away. She said, she's like, impropriety. Sort of like heads downstairs. And have we got you back, Missy? Are you back with us?
I see her. I see her picture.
I
Here
see
she
you.
comes.
There we go.
There she is.
There
Hi.
we go.
Hey,
Yeah, I can see you. Hi.
Sorry about that.
were you able to hear all that through the door?
Not really. I think I might have heard you say that you haven't seen a lot of Vistra because she's going off to pubs but not coming back drunk. And Weird Hal has gone getting some stuff for his Goblin the Tailor.
Essentially, we need to head to a big city for you to find some more contacts.
Lovely. Yes, and basically, you've just been awoken by a maidservant who's come to collect you to let you know that Leosin has awoken. Nassim has told her to come and fetch.
Okay, so how long have I been away then, searching for intel?
3 days. We've been doing things for 3 days.
You've been in and out for this entire time, but you haven't really told us anything. You've just been very sneaky.
All right, so Leosin has awoken.
So I'm dragging.
Can I ask, have I found out any information?
As I said, you found out that from a peddler that you've sort of befriended and got and received information from, that there is a in the towns and cities there is a shady religious organization that seems to be going around and recruiting people, particularly those of an unsavory background. And they're masquerading as a legitimate religious organization. He doesn't know the name of it. He does know that some people have said that they are a cult. And
Scientology, right?
People of these are sort of shady people that they're trying to convert and bring into their order. That's what you found out.
Did he mention anything about dragons? The fact that this cult adores and worships dragons?
No, he doesn't really know that. You're looking for shady criminal contacts in a little town where everybody knows each other's names. It's
where
everybody
knows your
stand
name.
out a bit. Yes, where everybody knows your name. I saw a base.
Just look for anybody rocking a mullet. That's probably it.
Look for anybody who's not wearing peasant's outfit and is not Nighthill or Escobar, and you probably found that person.
Well, that's quite helpful because, Pedrick and with Hal have more religious connections, so they will probably spot a fake or spot someone trying to be a legit religious groups, and they could probably ask them questions or trick them into revealing themselves as a fraud. So that could work in our favor, actually, having Pedrick and Widhal with us.
Okay.
Right, I can actually detect untruths and things of such.
Oh, you're Wonder Woman!
Wow!
Except you have to catch them in a string.
You can detect when people are lying, but you can't tell what the truth is?
Well, I couldn't tell you the truth, but I can tell you, I have to read that again. It does talk a little bit about the intentions, vaguely being able to...
Insight, right?
It's a divine gift.
A divine gift to your insight.
It's like Detect Evil, except it does a little bit more.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to check that out as well. If you can share that, I'll have to check what that does because I can't remember. All right, so you're sort of all you head towards the infirmary, which is where the maid has pointed you to. And as you head into the infirmary, you can see this sort of almost like a curtained off area. The matron sees you as a group, and she sort of looks at you and she points towards the curtained off area. It's more of a sort of just like a sheet hanging over the stall. It's not exactly a curtain, but she points and she says, she looks at you that way. As you go around the corner, you can see in bed, and he's sort of all bandaged up, but he's quite still looking in pretty poor state, but definitely awake and lucid, and he's looking up at you and from his pallet, and he's my rescuers.
Greetings, Master.
He's lying in bed right now?
He's lying on his pallet. He's sort of lying on his little pallet.
Am I allowed to use one of my spell slots on an NPC?
He's already healing up. He's not in any imminent danger. Also,
No, but I have. If I can spend 30 minutes with him, and he's doing a short rest, I can give him some healing points while we're there anyway.
Well,
but that would use my spell slot. I think I might want to save it for the party. That's why I'm asking in advance. Can I even do that without taking a long rest? Without taking a short rest myself.
I would say you can, but Leosin has been quite heavily damaged by this experience. You probably should ask his primary care giver first to see whether it'd be okay. But I would say that I would say you should still cast on an NPC if you want. But that, like you said, it will use up your spell slot.
And he's in the right place.
You know what? I'm considering it. I think I'll save it in case we encounter any combat today and need to take a short rest for the party.
Yeah, he's in the right place
well,
to get healthcare.
As you sort of as you come in, you can see sort of Leosin. He's looking up at you now. Leosin is quite he's a half elf. He's quite swarthy, swarthy coloured sort of skin. He's quite swarthy in his complexion. Sort of dark hair, sort of pale, very pale blue eyes. He's rocking a little goatee. He's got a little goatee around his mouth. From what you can see of it, most of his mouth is still quite sort of like swollen and looks quite painful.
Rogar has
you can't
facial
really
hair
see
envy
anything
right now.
else that he's wearing because he's sort of in bed. He's sort of bandaged up a bit with a blanket up around him, sort of like almost like a sheet up around his lower half of his body. But as he looks up at you, and he looks to you, Rogar, and he says, "I believe you have something of mine."
Yeah, I did not give it back to him in the camp.
Can't hear you, Rogar.
You can't hear me. How about now?
You?
Rogar's muted.
Why have I gone muted?
Rogar is lymph.
Give me a second. Hang on. Is it working now? Nope. They can't hear me on the. Okay. No, I'm not muted on.
It's in dumbfound silence.
Yeah, hang on. The thing is, you can hear me on the stream because I'm using a completely different setup.
I can't.
Let me test this one. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah,
Can
yeah,
you hear
yeah.
now?
There we go. Just change the webcam I'm using. All right, they could hear me on the stream because I'm using a separate mic for the stream. Okay, so I gave him his choker back as a sign when he was talking. When I insisted on him coming with us, I gave him his choker.
You showed it to him, but you couldn't have given it to him because he was.
Okay, fair enough. Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, I'll pull it out and I'll give it back to him then. I said, there you are, sir.
Okay. He raises a bandaged hand and he says, he takes it. He's, thank you. You don't know how much it means to get this back.
I figured as much.
Vistra is going to grab that bracelet out of Leosin's hand, and she is going to very angrily say, "Leo, you sent me a note to say that you needed urgent help, and I had saved your life before, and you wanted me to, return the debt, as it were. And I'm guessing this was about these raiders. I do not, however, appreciate the fact that you put yourself in harm's way. You were not even directed by Governor Nighthill, and you put your life at risk. And I am seriously unhappy about this. Okay, this was not okay. You put a lot of people in danger trying to rescue you for a chance. I mean, Nassim was urgently trying to find you. What good of you are you as a master? Think about what that means to your apprentice to put yourself in harm's way. So I am keeping this choker until I feel that you have deserved it, because to put your life on the line like that is not acceptable.
I just want to, under my breath, I want to turn to the other two guys and go, "Oh damn!"
Yeah, I was gonna say Nassim like pokes his head up from like behind the other curtain. Damn, son! He's like, yeah, you tell him.
Yeah, we were all worried sick, though, to be honest. We were all worried sick. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing when he told me that he didn't want to leave. I was like, you must be out of your mind. Remember that?
He looks
and I looked at these guys, I'm like, do you remember that?
Rogar had to go and push him. Leo, this is... There's ways and means, and that, I think, was not the best way for you to have dealt with that situation. But it's dealt with. But I am keeping this choker until I feel that you have realised.
Not cool,
so
bro.
He looks up at you. You're holding the choker, and just you're about to put the choker away. This blur of movement sort of like comes out from underneath the sheet. And when you next look, your hand is completely empty. He's holding the choker.
Is there no way that I could have rolled to have stopped him to do that?
He couldn't roll to stop
he's
you to do it.
He's a master martial artist, and he is levels and levels above you.
All right, fair enough.
I'm gonna just put it out there.
The DC will be 40.
I have written Leosin's character sheet, so I know what his
Does
levels
a 41 hit your AC?
Exactly. Yeah. Do you want to mess with a monk who gets like +7 to everything?
I turn to Leo and I turn to Leo and I say, "Really? That's your attitude after all this and all the pain and that we've gone through to get information and to help and everything. So I'm very disappointed in you."
So Leosin looks at you and he goes, "My boots over there. Could you please get one for me? The left one."
Well, you seem very eager to be able to grab things. I think you could probably try it yourself.
He rolls his eyes.
Even Rogar was going, burn!
He rolls his eyes and says to you, he says, "I might be a monk, but I'm not messing with that matron. I'm not getting out of this place."
Well,
he
if you
says,
want your boots, please stand up and get them. Because I am not picking them up for you.
He looks over at Rogar, please.
I bent down and pick up one of his boots. Right, which one? The left one. And I give him his boot.
And he sort of reaches up the side onto the side of the boot, and with this, it looks like a very weird sort of twist of the hand. But as he does so, a long blade flies out of the boot, and he catches it in his hand. He's like, "I could have left whenever I wanted." So he shows you the dagger. He says, I am very grateful for the rescue. I'm very grateful for the rescue. It did help me to escape, and it helped me to escape in the condition that I was in. I was not expecting to get into such a condition, but I did always have a way out. Now, as to whether this cancels the debt between us, Vistra, right? Vistra, yes, we met. I saved your life from the river.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You may consider all life debts between us paid. I am not so stingy as to imagine that I would have made it so easily without your help.
Well, I think the fact.
By the way, I just realised I'm talking exactly like Governor Nighthill here, and I need to change my voice. Apparently, Governor Nighthill and Leosin are related in some way. They're a voice.
Yeah,
it's like Principal Skinner and the Doctor. They've got the same voice, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of like to say to Leo in a way, you know, just say, fair enough, you could have escaped any time. Was it worth it with the information you got? Because you still haven't told us what that information is. And secondly, you were close to death. I saw from the top how much Siren Wrath was kicking your ass when you were chained up and vulnerable. Where was your get out of jail card there, to be fair? But anyway, what was the information that you got?
So he looks at you and he says, he looks at all of you and he says, well, if you and Nissim and everyone else finally given up on trying to mother me, I'll explain exactly what I found. He says, well, there are several pieces of information that I feel that you ought to know. I know that I've already spoken to Governor Nighthill. He's told me what you know. He came in and he said to me, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm okay." And I said, "Can I give you information?" "Yes, I can give you it." Sorry, I'm just having fun with the voice. Anyway, which one of us is which? Leosin, he says, now, several things that I managed to find out. First of all, you may have noticed that there were not many actual full members of the cult. There was a large amount of initiates there. Yes. However, what you may not have noticed is that there are a large amount of them weren't even initiates. There were a large amount of mercenaries there that seem to be filling out the camp's strength, just try and sort of hide how many members they have. I believe this is a tactic that they've been using to try and get more kobolds under their control by making themselves seem more powerful than they actually are. I would be assuming that the mercenaries are not even there to fight. That would be far more expensive, but rather to actually boost the numbers, so to speak. I also know why the kobolds are involved. The kobolds came. I managed to speak to several while I was in my captivity. As you might already know, kobolds are worshipful towards dragons, and Resmir has been using that to try and manipulate them. However, there is opportunity for us here. There is dissent growing amongst the kobold ranks. They are not being treated particularly well by their saviors. And I believe it wouldn't take too much to try and foment a bit of dissent amongst their ranks.
Rogar
we
slaps.
can pull a Rogar.
Rogar slaps Weird Hal.
Weird Hal, take 20 damage. This is a slap by Rogar. No, I'm joking. You take no damage.
But it did sting
you have
really much.
A very large handprint on your cheek. There's also he says also quite interesting. The cultists seem to be employing a group of local hunters and scouts in order to feed themselves. As you might have noticed, most of them tend to be quite inept. Or seem to be city boys who are out for a jaunt. This is most, from what I understand, most of the recruiting occurs in the cities, and so they seem to be employing a number of hunters and scouts to bring large game and other deer and other large meat animals into the camp. I also found out that there is a cave towards the back of the camp. I believe you mentioned it. Now, what you may not know is that cave is strictly off limits to the majority of the camp. The only people who are allowed to be in there are Frulam Mondath and Resmir. There's also a number of guards and kobolds. That area is known as the nursery in the camp. Okay, and it's an open secret amongst members of the cultists that Resmir plans to hatch dragon eggs in there.
So just to clarify, that's the cave that we slept in.
Sorry?
Just to clarify, the cave that we slept in is what he's talking about.
No,
the cave towards the back of the camp.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah.
Prisoner's body being dragged to.
Where he was tied up.
I don't know why I was of such interest to Resmir, but whatever she hoped to learn from me, well, I'm not even sure. I was there learning myself, but she seemed to believe that I had something to tell her. Finally, there is. I also learned that the plunder that's been taken from the nearby settlements is stored in the cave where the hatchlings must be kept. I don't know how much is there, but according to the talk that I heard, there must be a sizable pile by now. Finally, a couple of things we need. There is something that we need to talk about, and now he's looking really seriously at you, and he says, "All joking aside, no, well, looking up at all of you.
Oh, okay.
All joking aside, soon I need to travel north. I need to head to Elytrel, and I need to tell what I've learned to my contact. To my contact in the city. So I will be going to meet with Onthar Froom. You may have heard of him. I believe he knows you, Rogar. He mentioned that he sent for an apprentice of his in order to assist Greenest
Yes.
in his letters to me. Now, Onthar Froom is a paladin of Torm.
Right.
Okay, and he is like myself, very concerned over the Cult of the Dragon's recent activity. Now, I have to leave, but I have a favor to ask of you. All seriousness, after all you've done for me personally, and for everything that you've done for the people of Greenest, I do actually hate to ask anything more from you. But the need is great. And I hope that you can aid me one more time. I need you to return to the camp.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know your way around now. If the cultists are planning to have another raid, if a large body of them marches away, or if anything is taken out of that cave, I need to know. If you have a chance to get into the camp and have a look around again, well, that would be the best way to see if anything's changed. But, and he looks up at you and looks pointedly at the bruises on his arms and sort of points them on his face. I don't recommend letting you get yourselves captured. I would compensate you, of course. I can only offer you 150 gold apiece. If you're willing, I can offer you 150 gold apiece if you're willing to work for that.
I mean, Weird Hal loves working, and he doesn't really value gold that much. He just likes earning any gold he thinks is enough. He's kind of, I don't know if you've noticed, but Weird Hal is kind of clueless when it comes to money.
A little bit.
Pedrick smiles and he says, "My brother, the gold is just a bonus. This abomination and worship of false gods cannot be left to stand, and I will do all I can to crush it. Fear
Whoa,
not.
crush, all right.
These false gods cannot be allowed to stand."
He looks up at you and he says, "I believe you and Ontharfru will get on very well."
This aggression will not stand.
I think you two will get on like a house on fire. Let me just clarify. What is it you want us to do?
I need you to, as I said, I need you to go into the camp, and I need you to find out whether the cultists are going to conduct another raid, if any of them are leaving, and also if anything has been taken from, if anything comes out of the cave, if anything is brought out of that cave, I need to know about it. We need to be able to prepare, and we need to be able to handle these cultists. While I'm in Elturel, I will be able to start gathering support if we need to engage in a mass attack upon these cultists and wipe them out. But I need proof to gather I need proof in order to call to arms the local guard. And so I need you to be able to come to me with something that I can use as a premise to make my move. So, I'm as I said, I'm willing to pay you for this. Ontharfrum and I can certainly pull together some funds. As I said, I'll offer you 150 gold apiece.
That's not bad.
I'm not asking you to engage in combat or to fight. I'm just asking you to see if anything has changed in the camp since we left. I don't think you need to rush. I don't really expect them to make any sudden changes or change their mode of operation, but whenever you can get back there, as long as it's not too long.
One thing I will note, I have noticed in the last 5 days now. How long were you in the camp?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I was taken. I was taken at the beginning of the fight. I was pretty much caught at the beginning. I was taken to the camp, about 7 o'clock the previous night.
I asked this because there is a distinct lack of an ancient blue dragon being seen since it was last flying over the heads of Greenest.
Ah, yes.
I don't think we should be in too much of a hurry to find him.
No, but I would like to know if
about,
I'm talking about Lenethon, who knows who I am. And I would much like to know, did you see Lenethon at all in the time you were at the camp?
No, I know he was there. I know he was there for the attack on Greenest. I know there was a large blue dragon. Looked quite young to my eye.
Oh, he wasn't ancient, was he? He was young.
He was a young adult, yes,
yeah.
Probably in his earliest years of adulthood. But yes, I didn't see him while I was there. No, he didn't make an appearance. He probably reported to Resmir, who wasn't in the camp.
Resmia wasn't there.
While I was there. Well, not that I saw. I know she sent. Information. Probably must have been through some magic or some that I was to be questioned. But I didn't see Resmia while I was there. Maybe she must have been absent.
What questions were they asking you?
Oh, tell us what you. He looks at you and he says, the standard maniacal questions. Tell us what you know. What have you seen? How much have you seen? What is the what is the who else is working with you? Who else is working with you? What do you know about Tiamat?
They said Tiamat by name?
Oh yes, they mentioned her a lot. I mean, Tiamat is the dragon goddess, the 5-headed dragon goddess. I mean, you must have seen them doing it around the camp. They all stretch out their hands like that, and there's the 5-headed dragon symbol. You know, they hold out their hands, and then some of them curl their hands back, the 2 fingers back. Apparently, amongst the more hardcore cultists, that's a symbol which means that Tiamat is hiding some of her strength. So if you want to get good, that's probably a good way. I mean,
so that's what that means.
None of the young initiates were doing it. But yes, I'm quite a scholar regarding this cult, and their activity has increased dramatically in these last couple of seasons.
So Rogar's going to start looking around the group, and I'll just go, what do we think? Can we get back into that camp?
I don't think an assault is possible between the 4 of us, and I'm not sure that you haven't been made after the raid that we did. So I don't even know that you could sneak back in with our support.
I can sneak in anywhere.
To be honest with you, I could walk into that camp, but I am not going comfortably.
Can you hear me?
My connection is rubbish.
Yeah, you're all breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Mine's pretty solid, so I don't know.
It's not your fault. I'm waiting for my connection to boost again. Come on. There we go.
There we go.
I'm back.
So yeah, I mean, I could walk into that camp. I just would not be very comfortable doing it. And it would be very easy.
I'm not asking you to walk into the camp, my dear sir. I'm asking I think that it might be I think it might be prudent if you don't walk in, but any information you can give me, any information you can give me, I would be most appreciative.
It's going to be very sneaky again, a lot of deception again, I believe.
I can be invisible for 60 minutes.
So we could also use the cave as a base of operations.
The cave, I mean, we can hide in the cave as long as that hasn't been detected. And I mean, you two are sneaky. You'd be able to get into the cave, no doubt, at the back. But it's 2 of you on your own, and you wouldn't have any backup to do it.
No, I don't like that plan.
Okay.
I don't like that plan.
Okay.
You gotta think of something different.
Are you going to stay by Leosin, or are you going to start? Are you going to go and do something else? Are you going to head towards the camp because you can always talk while you're going, or?
Yeah, I think we should start moving immediately. I mean, time's a wasted as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it's certainly been 3 days since we last in the camp, so something could have been different. And we're to report, and I want to, just before we leave, I want to look to Leosin, and I'm saying, this is purely intel. You want to know what's in the cave, and you just need an excuse to attack it.
I don't need to, he says, I don't need to know, I don't need you to go into the cave. I need you to see if anything's brought out of the cave. I need a premise. You don't need to even go in there. I just need you to find out if anything's brought out of it. I need you to find out if there's a major change in the disposition of the camp, like a large number of them marching off somewhere, or whether they're looking to muster another attack.
Sounds like what you're asking for is a forward listening post.
He looks at you and smiles wryly.
Uh,
You're the only people that I can trust with this. Governor Nighthill doesn't have people who are suitable for this sort of operation, and really, there's no one else who can engage with this kind of activity.
listen,
That's your skill set.
I would like to roll a history check to see if I can remember whether dragons, if I've heard if dragons have true sight or not. Because I don't remember that and I don't want to look it up.
All right, go ahead.
Going to roll that.
You check.
He shouts, "My name is Greg."
My name is Greg.
Yeah, 4.
I got a 4. I can't remember at all.
Well, dragon. You can't really remember, and you know that dragons are frightfully powerful, and that it can depend upon how old the dragon is before they actually receive a number of their more powerful traits. But really, all you remember is dragons are scary.
I remember that. I can't forget
and
that.
that the color of their skin normally denotes their ability.
I placed my hand on the Howl's shoulder and I said, "Fear not. The gods are with us. You don't need to fear this. We will make it happen."
All right. I like this dude. And I look at the other two. I'm like, I like this dude.
Okay.
Okay, and just as we're about to leave, then, and I just want to say, we're going to find this information and come and bring it to you in Elturel. Yes.
Yes, you have to come and find me in Elturel. Yes. If I am
Elturel, where's
not,
that?
North.
if I am not there, you can find me there. If you report to me, I'll give you your pay. And if I have moved on before you reach the city, as I may have to do, then please speak with Onthar Froom instead, and he will pay you in my stead and take the information and pass it on to me. We have a number of wizards in the city, and they'll be able to pass the information.
This is already the furthest I've ever been from the temple.
He says, "Well, my dear boy, if anything goes right, you'll be seeing farther ranging lands much sooner than you think."
Maybe there will be a temple to Timora somewhere.
Probably.
Oh, indeed, yes. We have many temples. Sorry, I'm actually trying to kill a mosquito. That's why I'm.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna say right. I'm gonna walk out and start gathering my.
Away we
things.
go.
Okay, so you start gathering your things together. You start heading towards the gate of the town.
I'm putting my robe in my backpack along with all my supplies. And just because I'm nervous, I would like to spend the money it will cost me to replace my rations, which I picked up here in town and I have not eaten from yet.
Yes, that's right. Because Aurelio's not here, so you would need rations. But it's only 2 hours or so to the camp, so you can probably get back.
I know
yes,
that's not the issue. The issue is I don't trust the rations that I collected from this town before.
Okay, so that's fine. You can stop by the local market and you can replenish your ration.
I'm going to find actually while we're there, I'm going to go with him and I want to pick up some. I want to pick up some dried meats.
How much longer are you guys going to go tonight?
It's almost 2 a.m. now.
Yeah, I think we're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting close towards the end of this. Yeah.
All right,
because we've done a lot of RP, which has been lovely.
I have been called to the dinner table, so you can call me lots of things, but late for dinner is not one of them.
Okay, well, we can end a little early tonight. We can end sort of as you sort of exiting the town. To step forth to end, and if you want, I mean, guys, I'm free tomorrow. If you guys want to play, or during the week, I'm very happy.
Good tomorrow. I mean, I could probably do tomorrow. I don't know exactly, but If we have a...
I can play tomorrow, and if it falls through, I can always run an AL tomorrow as well. We haven't.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, well,
It depends on the
Since
time
I,
tomorrow. We've got some plans for the evening, so.
okay. All right,
We
so
have a chat on the
we might have to
Discord.
leave it then because we might be a
However,
bit short.
if you guys get together, you're free to NPC my character if you need to.
I'd rather we don't NPC this part because I've put a lot of effort into the map.
Okay.
Yeah, generally we tend to just have it. Generally, we just try to have enough players.
Well, why don't we play? We can play AL tomorrow then. We can play
Yeah.
AL tomorrow instead.
We've played AL for a little bit now. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
we can't be too long because Missy's got an interview on Sunday. So.
All right, y'all.
Okay, so
what is the cost to replace my rations?
Let me check that for you. Sorry, I don't have. I've got like multiple books in front of me, and I get them to pull them up. Rations. A day's worth of rations. I believe it's like a silver piece, but I'll just check. Food and water.
If it's 10 silver, then it's the gold.
Trade goods. Here we go. Food and drink. Food and drink. Rations. I can't find it. Rations.
It might
I'll
be
say,
equipment.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but it's
Rations, 1 day is 5 silver pieces.
1 day is 5 silver pieces. All right, so how many rations do you have to replace?
I'm replacing all 10 days worth. I'm going to throw away the old ones. I don't trust them.
All right,
so
so
that's 50
that's
silver.
50 silver.
Okay. I'm just going to leave a tip for the cook and make it a solid gold.
All right, so you pay 1 gold. You replace your ration. Rogar, what were you looking for?
Dried meat. I was just going to get. I was going to take 10 days of dried meat, just so it doesn't go off.
You're going to take some dried meat. That's perfectly fine.
Is that going to be pretty much the same?
You're taking dried meat, not like just a chunk of meat.
Not a chunk of meat. I want jerky. I don't want it to go off anytime soon. So.
All right. Well, that would count as rations as well.
Yep.
So you can take.
So I'll
that's
take
sort of
1
like
gold
ration
as well.
food. So you can take. You're taking
I
1
think
gold's worth.
we'll all fill up on rations.
Okay, so you're all filling up on rations. Brilliant. Okay, so that's 1 gold. That's 50 gold, 50 silver pieces each, please.
So that's
And is there anything else you guys want to do before you exit the town?
I'm just going to double check my pack, make sure I have all my stuff.
Did you guys remember to take the rope? When
Yeah, I pulled it up, didn't I? I pulled it up at the end.
Okay, did you remember to pick it up?
I think so.
Or untie it from the boulder?
I think
so, didn't I?
Pedric's going. Bye, Pedric. Thanks, Callum.
Bye, Patrick. Thanks for
Bye,
coming.
Cal.
Hey,
Okay.
I'll touch base tomorrow if something changes, guys. Thanks for
All
the
right,
game.
brilliant. Oh, I'm glad you had fun. Okay.
I can't remember if I did or not. But if not, I'll have to replace it because it wasn't our 50 ropes that I used. It was I borrowed Aurelio's climbing gear.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be 50 meters of rope. Sorry, 50 feet of rope. That's what it would be.
So I'll just replace the climbing gear, whatever that costs.
So hempen rope for 50 feet is 1 gold piece.
All right, I'll take another gold piece off and I'll just replace. And then I imagine he's in town somewhere, so I'll just give it back to him, and I'll take the robe off of him that he used off of me.
Okay.
I imagine he's not going to put up a fight about that.
Okay. It's not been any more time yet. You have Weird Hal. You still have a dagger of Sunfire, don't you? The dagger
I do, yes.
Yeah, so that's fully charged at the moment. You haven't used it, so it's fully charged up. And...
I don't even know that it does anything yet. I mean, I attuned to the dagger, but I have not
No,
had
you are
it
attuned to
go
the
off.
dagger. I told you attuned to the dagger, and I told you what it does because you spent some time studying it.
I mean, in character, it hasn't done it yet.
No, you haven't done it yet. You don't know what it
Oh,
looks
there we
like. You just know it has the potential to sort of
It
unleash
does
some
some.
sort
I
of
know
attack.
it does something.
Yeah,
I know it does something.
It has some sort of effect, and it has something to do with the sun, because it seems to recharge every day at sunrise. Okay, so and nobody else. So we're not buying anything else. We're just going to be. That's what we're getting.
I'm just having a quick look. What page is it again? Quickly for the sort of near the middle, isn't it?
Equipment.
Yeah.
Page
Oh, hang on.
150.
There we go.
I think it's like page 110 or 114.
I mean, in a place like this, you're more likely to find simple weapons. Sort of like daggers, clubs, hand axe, things like that. But things that would be maybe used for other things.
Is there any way that I can? Is there any way that I can get a horn like the horns to what the guards have?
What? Oh, you mean like a horn, like a
Like a ram's horn?
Hello? Are you there?
Is there any way that Vistra can get a horn that is similar to the
I can hear you. I
can't hear you. That's why I'm doing it this way.
Oh.
Is there any way that I can get a horn that is similar to like one of the guards? Raiders? I think I have a signal whistle, I believe.
Okay.
I need to check.
Yeah, you have a whistle, I believe. You've got you have a burglar's pack.
Yeah, I have
So
burglar's
you have a
pack,
crowbar,
yeah.
a hammer, pitons, a hooded lantern, 5 flasks of oil, 5 rations, a tinder box of water skin, and 50 feet of rope, which you don't have anymore because you left it behind.
Did I leave it behind?
Well, you guys did. You tied them together, didn't you?
No, it was I've just had a quick look. We didn't use the rope. We used we didn't use our rope. We used
Okay, if I've lost
Aurelio's.
I'll buy a new one.
We used Aurelio's climbing gear, and the climber's kit cost 25 gold, which I've replaced.
Okay.
And we didn't use our rope because we instead Aurelio gave me his climbing gear.
I'll buy new hemp rope.
No, you did use your rope because you pulled them up. I remember you were at the top.
Okay.
And
I
you
thought you
pulled
said
them
the
up.
climber's gear. I thought you said the climber's gear was going to be enough for that.
Climber's gear.
But is there any way I can get something
Climber's
like that?
kit. Climber's kit is like a rope, pitons, and a little hammer to sort of like stick it in. So you have the.
It's a
There's still.
pickaxe.
Yeah.
It's a pick for climbing. It's a hammer for hammering in pythons. It's pythons and it's spikes for your boots, but it's not a rope.
Oh,
Rope
okay.
is a separate piece of gear.
But I remember distinctly that Rogar asked whether he could pull people up,
Yeah.
like up from the top. So you must have used a rope of some kind.
Okay, so we used 2 lots of rope as well then. So I'll replace the 2 ropes as well, and then I'll give one back
Okay,
to
so that's
one
another.
to
So
Vistra.
that's 2 gold and 25 gold
Yeah, I've done
for
that,
the
yeah.
climber's kit.
Yeah.
Hi, Kitty.
Okay. All right, brilliant. So we are. So Vistra, is there anything that you want to buy?
Well, other
the
than the
horn.
horn, that's
Cat
like the
repellent.
guards.
I don't. I mean, it would. The closest I could think about is a musical instrument, but you probably wouldn't be able to get that from here. Not the same sort of
there's
horn
not
that
a
they would
good-
have anyway.
There's not a good music shop here. They don't even have drums for
They
them.
they come into you to learn the drums.
Yeah.
So, no, I would say probably that sort of equipment is not to be found.
Do I have a mirror?
A mirror.
Would I get that in my
It's in your thieves' tools.
disguise costume?
It's in your
A mirror?
thieves' tools.
Yeah, you have one in your thieves' tools.
It's in your thieves' tools, so you can look under doors and stuff.
If there's anything
I'm not
else.
going to. But is there anything else you're missing?
I am going to buy a totem
A totem.
Yeah, totem is 1 gold piece.
All right. Why are you buying a totem?
It's for an idea I have.
Okay, you can have a totem then. You buy a little totem from you go up to the top of the hill, and there's Miss Treason there, and then sort of there's a gypsy thing. She said, "Hello, my dear. I know what you need." Very Night Hill like evil thing as well. Everybody sound like Night Hill tonight. Hello, my dear.
Did you notice the joke, Missy?
Perfect. So I get my totem. I would also like to buy 1 candle.
Chanting totem.
You have a candle. You have a candle in your thing.
Okay. Okay. And then one last thing.
Chanting totem.
2 last things. Sorry. I'd like to buy
2 last things. Okay. You have 5 candles in your burglar's pack. You can have a vial. Yeah, you can buy a vial. Anything else? How much is that?
A vial is 1
1 gold
I'll
piece.
have this up in a second. And then there's one more thing that I wanted to
A diamond.
to get, and I can't remember what it was now.
The diamond. The diamond.
Climber's pit, if that's possible.
She can't hear you guys.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
What the hell?
They're all saying a word that begins with D.
Dungeon pack.
No.
Not a dungeon pack.
Tell her.
Shine bright like a.
Oh, can I buy a diamond?
Nope.
I didn't think I could buy a diamond with how the situation is at the moment and the shops.
Well, you haven't asked
Somebody
any
might
shops
have
where they
one.
sell. They haven't asked anyone if they sell them or if they have one or anything.
In that case, I will ask
Who?
a person that may have diamonds, like a miner.
I need to
or-
know who you're going to ask. I can't say a person randomly. This is not the shopkeeper in that Dungeons and Dragons thing where the guy comes up. I have a bow of shooting. You know, I want a mithril grappling hook. Is
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I don't have a diamond.
You need to ask around town for a jeweler's.
Antique shop.
well, Greenwich doesn't really have an antique shop. It's a little sort of province town. I mean, you think about who might have a diamond that they might be willing to sell you.
Governor Nighthill.
Ah, interesting choice. All right, so you go to Governor Nighthill, and he says, my dear Vistra, how can I help you today? I hear you're heading off on another adventure. Please come back. We need you.
Yes, you sent us. I know you're a man of a high rank in this area, and I feel that it would be a fantastic help for us as a group to help you and Leosin with finding out more information about the Raiders camp and, ensuring that nothing bad happens again at Greenest, because you guys could not handle that. So I have a proposition for you. Well, 2 propositions. 1, is it possible that you could sell me a diamond that you may have from your personal treasury? Or if that is not acceptable, could I borrow it on the promise that at the end of coming back from the Raiders camp, I will return it to you in full condition of how you gave it to me?
Okay. Let me just check something quickly. That on that list. Okay. All right. Okay, so he looks at you and says, I'm not a man of many means. I mean, I run this town, but I do have several jewels. Can you take a persuasion check for me, please?
If I can still use it, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, come on. Sorry, it's just taking a while for me to actually scroll down.
That's okay.
Oh, hang on. Is it working? Yeah, okay. All right. Persuasion, you say?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think I rolled it.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Well, you did it with advantage, but I'll take the left.
They're both the same.
Sorry.
Both the same. Wow, and both pretty high as well. All right.
I would prefer to buy it though, because it would come in handy in future. Necessary involvement with me with Greenest to help protect it. So if I could possibly persuade you to sell it to me,
You actually have to.
that would
You
be
have to
buy
pay
it.
100 gold for it.
It's 50 gold. I believe it's a 50 gold diamond. I don't think it's 100 gold.
In
For
either
the
case,
spell.
you have to buy it.
Chromatic orb. I think it's 100.
Is it a diamond worth 100 gold?
No, 50.
Yeah, it's a
There you go.
minor diamond. It's not. It's not a major. You only
So
need a
there you
little
go.
diamond for it. Okay, so he sort of looks past. He looks at you. He looks at you, and he sort of cocks his head to one side, and he seems to have come. He looks up. His eyes are sort of more determined that he's come to a decision. He heads up to he heads up sort of into the keep, and he gestures that you follow him.
Follow.
As he walks up into the keep, he opens the door, and you can see this is his Governor Nighthill's private chambers. He walks over, and beside his bed there is a small box, and he sort of rests his hand on it for a moment, and then he opens it, and from within the box he pulls out a ring. Okay, on this ring there is a small diamond that's been set into the gold of the ring, and he says he raises it up, and he seems to give a little sigh for a moment, and he says he turns around and he presents it to you, and he says, the gold, donate to the temple. I have no need of more gold. However, this ring belonged to someone quite dear to me. Please, you may keep it, but all I ask is that should the opportunity arise where you are able to retrieve a diamond from another location, that if possible, you find a way to return this to me.
I nod and I say, "This, I assure you, I would not ask unless if I was desperate, because and I say, I thank him, and I say, of course, as soon as I find, I'll return this one specifically to you, and maybe I could possibly ask my companion Rogar to maybe set it into a ring-like shape, so that you can have it back as close to as it was, if it's possible."
He says, well, if possible, please try and keep the ring intact. You can wear it, or you can hold it around your neck. I don't mind, but as long as all you need is the diamond, it should work for your purposes.
Oh, so you meant that the gold currency gets donated?
Yeah, the gold money, the gold.
Okay.
Church, the ring.
Right,
don't don't throw the ring away. That's what he's asking for.
All right.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So you now have a diamond worth 50 gold pieces. Please remove 50 gold from your account. You will need to donate that to the church. You will not be receiving the blessings of Shantia because this was done for motives other than purely charity. But you now have a 50 gold. You have now a 50 gold diamond in your possession. It is set into the ring of. Milani. No, her name is, what was it? Miran. Yes, Miran Nighthill. The ring of Miran Nighthill. Okay. So you have the ring of Miran Nighthill in possession, and you have agreed. You have an obligation. Now that should the possibility arise that you will return this ring to government however you wish. So please make sure to jot that down on your character.
Sure.
Okay. So we now have a fully equipped team ready to go, and as you sort of take a step and you jump into the air, freeze frame. And that is where as you walk out towards the camp, this is where we will end our stream for today. Sorry there was no combat or fighting, and you see the I spent but I'm really but I'm really glad you guys had a good time, and next time there will be combat.
And dungeons,
and maybe even dragons. You never know, or dragon-like creatures, or Rogar, because Rogar can just fit the.
I am the dragons in Dungeons
and Rogar. No, it doesn't quite work.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. DNR.
Okay. Well, that is so, guys. This is where we're taking the break for today. Thanks very much for watching us.
Do we want to raid?
Do we have any viewers at the moment?
We have
Hashtag
3.
for the kids.
Well, I'm one of them.
For the kids.
Hashtag for the kids.
Yep.
Yes, let's. We can conduct a raid. I don't know with whom to raid, but we can definitely conduct a raid, guys. It's been fun. I've had to do a lot of improv today.
Welcome to D&D.
I'm going to get my voices sorted out. I need to get my voice sorted out because I'm definitely slipping into Nighthill as a basic character at the moment. Hello, my name is Governor Nighthill. Hello, my name is Leosin. Hello, my name is a very elderly Governor Nighthill who's masquerading as
I am also Governor Nighthill.
Governor Nighthill. Kobold.
No, I am Governor Nighthill.
No, I am Governor Nighthill.
I'm Brian.
I'm Greg. Sorry. Your name is Greg. My name's not Greg. My name is Greg. I love that so much. That made me really laugh. And the perception one kills me as well, just with the door standing there. I thought that was Annie or Loki making that. That's Missy typing on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're not. You're rattling on the table. Okay, so who are we raiding tonight then?
Book's being really slow. Do you guys mind if we leave it just for tonight and we'll try and raid?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll
That's
raid
fine.
after Adventure League tomorrow. Okay, sorry guys if you're watching, and we would normally raid. Sometimes it's a bit difficult with the connection, and it gets a bit difficult.
Okay, guys.
But yeah, hashtag for the kids. Thank you very much to Kellum, who's not here, for playing a pious cleric today, and also for the piety of Miniacs Miniatures, who is still a tingling. Actually,
that was
no,
awesome.
it's only for 24 hours, so you don't have that right now. And also to Base of Operations, please check out his stuff on his stuff regarding what is it that you're playing at the moment? Gaslands.
Gaslands.
Gaslands, and also, of course, Miniax Miniatures with his amazing sculpts. Check out his Candyland monster, which is pretty funky.
Got that right here.
There you go. For all your miniature and sculpting needs. And thank you very much, Missy TTV, for playing a wonderfully sneaky and underhand thief, and also a remonstrating thief today. I'm pretty sure Leosen is shaking in his casts now that you've gone. How dare you? How dare you do this to us? Absolutely brilliant. All right, thanks to all of you, and I have many more games. Your dungeon, and we'll probably be back next week with another Horde of the Dragon Queen. Maybe tomorrow, but maybe not. Maybe Adventures League, which would be
We'll
awesome.
just see what happens tomorrow. If everybody shows up, then I would rather play Horde of the Dragon Queen just because I want something to happen.
The adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hey,
everybody
you're the one haggling about your clothes.
and everybody needs to check out the BLS and join us and become part of what we do.
Yeah,
here.
definitely join Boarderline Streamers and join our online roleplay and online board game play because we could use the players. We have a lot of fun, but there can always be more fun to be had.
Enough now.
And me and many
Bye,
more
we're
games
right now.
is also planning on seeing if we can figure out how we can get Gaslands live as well on
That would be amazing. Yeah, we need to sit down and talk about that. Maybe we can sit down and talk about it tomorrow before we do whatever we're gonna do.
Yeah, no, Gaslands is a great idea, and I think it'll fit Roll20 really well, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
So-
if you're...
I was trying to think how I could. I was trying to see if I could figure out how to fit Gaslands into Horde of the Dragon Queen. Maybe like racing cars. You know, like different groups of cultists, tricking out their hay carts, like with spikes and crossbows and all sorts of stuff. I'll need to think about that as well because I'd love to try and get another game system and hide it in a little sort of Easter egg game system in this one
That
as
would be
well.
awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
All right.
Anyway, guys, it's been awesome, absolutely brilliant, and thanks. We'll meet again tomorrow.
Yep, excellent. All right, well, I'll
Bye.
go. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.